Welcome to Jurassic.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
Spotlight video? Yeah. Ready? There he is!
Whoa! Oh, you're doing speaker. Oh no. Okay.
Oh, hello. I'm Mercedes.
This looks amazing. Henry.
Oh, it's my turn. Hi, I'm Jake Jacobs. I'm playing.
Oh, it's my turn. I'm sorry, I'm being distracted.
Oh, hello. I'm Delaney.
And we're all playing stage directions.
Woo!
Woo!
Direction, whatever they are. I don't know. Film, whatever.
And now, okay.
All right, here we go.
Me and my beautiful green screen. Exterior, jungle, night. An eyeball. Big, yellowish, distinctly inhuman, stares raptly between wooden slats, part of a large crate. The eye darts from side to side, alert as hell. A legend tries to place us. Isla Nublar, 120 miles west of Costa Rica. But to us, it's still the middle of nowhere. It's quiet for a second. A roar rises up from the jungle, deafening. The trees shake as something very, very large plows ahead through them, right at us. Every head gathered in this little thing snaps. Every head, turning in the direction of the sound as it bursts through the trees. It's a bulldozer. It drops its scoop and pushes forward into the back end of the crate, shoving it across the jungle floor towards an impressive fence structure that towers over an enclosed section of thick jungle. There's a guard tower at one end of this holding open that makes it look like San Quentin. The bulldozer pushes forward into the back end. The crate thuds to the floor. A door slides open in the pen, making a space as big as the end of the crate. Nobody moves for a second. A grim-faced guy who seems to be in charge. Robert Muldoon, although we don't know it yet. Robert Muldoon? Oh no, am I the only one who's not frozen? Shit.
Is Delaney frozen?
I'm
Delaney froze. Oh.
There she is.
What a
Yeah.
mess already. Did you hear where I stopped?
No.
We didn't
We
hear
didn't
anything.
thing.
Wait, what?
We didn't hear anything.
I said my
Jake
first
just
line.
did- yeah.
Oh, you did say your first line.
Yes.
Wait, say it one more time.
Oh no.
Slow down. I think she's frozen again.
God.
Oh wait, she's
We're
back.
good.
She's back. She's back. Okay, go ahead.
All right now. Pushers move in. Loading team, move it.
Nice. The movement is agitated, whatever is inside the crate, and the whole thing shivers.
Typo.
Growls and snaps come from inside. Everyone moves back.
All right, steady. Get back in there now. Push. Get back in there. Don't let her know you're afraid.
The men go back to the crate and begin to push it into the slot. The crate thuds up against the opening. A green light on the side of the pen lights up, showing contact has been made. From inside the crate, we get glimpses of what's on the other side of those wooden slats. Jungle foliage, men with rifles, searching searchlights. The view is herky-jerky as the crate is put into position.
Well locked. Loading team, step away. Joffrey, raise the gate.
A worker climbs to the top of the crate. The searchlights are trained on the door. The riflemen throw the bolts on their rifles and crack their stun guns, sending arcs of current cracking through the air. The worker gets ready to grab the gate when all at once, a roar from the inside the crate, and the panel flies out of his hand and smacks into him.
Yes.
And hits him clear off the crate. Then everything happens at once. The worker thuds to the jungle floor. The crate jerks away from the mouth of the holding pen. Flash! An alarm buzzer sounds, and a claw slashes out from inside the crate. It sinks into the ankle of the worker, dragging him toward the dark mouth between the crate and the pen. The worker screams and paws the dirt, leaving long claw marks as he is rapidly dragged toward the crate. Muldoon shouts orders.
Jesus, get in there, goddammit!
They fire their guns. The wood of the crate splinters. Muldoon runs in and grabs the worker, trying to pull him free. The wild arcs of currents from the stun gun flash and crack all around, but in a second, The worker is gone. Cut 2. By day. Is that not in the script?
That line's not in the script. I guess
Not in the
well,
script.
it should have been, but it's in the movie, but it's not in the script, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Mano de Dios Amber Mine, Dominican Republic. Donald Gennaro, 40, in a city man's idea of hiking clothes and a $100 haircut, approaches on a raft being pulled across the river by 2 men. On the hillside, Juan Restagno, 30-ish, Costa Rican, a smart-looking guy in worker's clothes, is waiting for him.
Oh, I have to speak Spanish. Okay. Tengo 1,000 pesos.
Me just saying.
Yeah, tengo 1,000 pesos que dicen que se cae. Aquí esto, no, apuesto 1,000 pesos que se cae.
Mhm.
All right.
Hola, Juanito.
Hola, bienvenido.
Restagno leads Gennaro towards the mine. Dozens of shirtless workers claw and scrape at a rocky mountainside that is the site of an extensive mining operation. The work is all done by hand, pick and shovel, instead of dynamite and bulldozer.
What's this I hear at the airport? Hammond's not even here?
He sends his apologies.
You're telling me that we're facing a $20 million lawsuit from the family of that injured worker, and Hammond couldn't even be bothered to see me?
He had to leave early to be with his daughter. She's getting a divorce.
I get the choice. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, we'll be advised to deal with the situation now. The insurance company...
Gennaro almost
The
falls.
under-
Restagno helps him.
Does that count?
Oh yeah, sure.
Good.
What?
Oh, we forgot the worker died. My bad.
The underwriters
yeah.
for the accident raises some very serious questions about the safety of the park. They're making the investors very anxious. I had to promise I would conduct a thorough on-site inspection.
Hammond hates inspections. They slow everything down.
Juanito, if they pull the funding, that will really slow things down.
Oh wait. Oh yeah, it does this thing where it
Worker.
gives options for lines. Okay.
Yeah.
I
A
like
worker
that.
hurries up to them and bursts in the
That's cool.
conversation breathless.
Who's the worker?
No idea.
I'll do it. Jefe, encontramos otro mosquito en el mismo sitio.
Wow. I lost my.
Seguro? Muéstrame.
The worker and Restagno scramble back deeper into the mine. Restagno calls back over his shoulder to Gennaro.
It seems like it's going to be a good day after all. They found another one. Come on.
Gennaro struggles to keep up. Exterior cave day. Restagno and Gennaro move into the dark, dripping cave, where at least a dozen other workers are gathered in a tight circle, staring at something intently. Restagno fights his way to the center of the group. One of the workers hands him something, and Restagno examines it carefully. It's a chunk of amber, a shiny yellow rock about the size of a $50. That's-
Gennaro.
Oh, wow. If 2 experts sign off on the island, the insurance guys will back off. I already got Ian Malcolm, but I think he's too trendy. They want Alan Grant.
Grant. You'll never get him out of Montana.
Why not?
Because he's like me. He's a digger.
Restagno turns and holds the amber up to the sunlight streaming through the mouth of the cave. With the light pouring through it, the amber is translucent, and we can see something inside this strange stone. A huge mosquito, long dead, entombed there.
Ay, qué lindo eres. Vas a hacer a mucho gente feliz.
That's really good, Ross.
Oh God, what's the
Cut 2.
background's falling apart.
So now it's who's reading stage directions?
Oh boy. Exterior. The dig day. An artist's camel hairbrush carefully sweeps away sand and rock to slowly reveal the dark curve of a fossil. It's a claw. A dentist's pick gently lifts it from the place it has laid for millions of years.
Keep it together.
The grammar is all over the place. Pull up to reveal a group of diggers working on a large skeleton. All we can see are the tops of their hats. The paleontologist working on the claw plays it in his hand.
4 complete skeletons. Such a small area. Same time horizon.
They died together?
The taphonomy sure looks that way.
If they died together, they lived together. Suggest some kind of social order.
Dr. Alan Grant, mid-30s. A ragged-looking guy with intense concentration you wouldn't want to get in the way of, carefully examines the claw. Dr. Ellie Sattler, working with him, leans in close and studies it too. She paints the exposed bone with rubber cement. Ellie in her late 20s, athletic looking. There's an impatience about Ellie, as if nothing in life quite happens fast enough for her. Her face is almost pressed up against his. She's sitting so close.
They hunted as a team. The dismembered Tentosaurus over there. That's lunch. But what killed our raptors in a lake bed in a bunch like this? We better come up with something that makes sense.
A drought. The lake was shrinking.
That's good. That's right. They died around a dried up puddle without fighting each other. This is looking good.
From the bottom of a hill, a voice shouts to them.
Dr. Grant, Dr. Sattler, we're ready to try again.
I hate computers.
Grant signs and sits up, stretching out his back.
Oh, sorry. I just did it for you.
I have to sign. I don't know what that means. But
It's supposed to be size.
Obviously.
What is the typo in this?
There's a lot of them.
he shoves the claw absent-mindedly into his pocket, and he and Ellie walk towards the source of the voice. As they walk, we get our first look at the Badlands. Exposed outcroppings of crumbling limestone stretch for miles in every direction. Not a tree or bush in sight. In the dig itself, the ground is checkered with excavations everywhere. There's a base camp with 5 or 6 teepees, a flapping mess tent, a few cards, a flatbed truck with wrapped fossils floating on it, and a mobile home. There are a dozen volunteers of all ages at work at various places around the dig. The volunteers are all from walks of life, dinosaur buffs. 3 or 4 of them have children with them, and the kids run around like a giant sandbox. Grant, Ellie, and a volunteer walk down the hill. Grant spots a kid kicking dirt into one of the digs. He notices and frowns.
What's that kid doing? What are you doing there? Excuse me. Can you just back off? This is very fragile. Are you out of your mind? Get off that and go find your parents. Did you see what he just did?
The kid stomps away, pissed off.
Asshole.
Why do they have to bring their kids?
You could hire your help, but there's 4 summers of work here with the money for one. And you say it's a learning experience, sort of a vacation, and you get volunteers with kids.
He and Ellie arrive to where several volunteers are clustered around a computer terminal that's set up on a table in a small tent. Its flaps lashed open.
Ready to give it a shot, Jerry?
A little girl moves too close to the machine.
Want to watch the computer?
Ellie quietly moves her out of Grant's way to a place she can see.
Thumper ready?
Ready.
Fire.
The volunteer throws a switch on the machine that looks a bit like a floor buffer. The whole thing hops up in the air as it drives a soft lead pellet into the earth with tremendous force. There is a dull thud. The earth seems to vibrate, and all eyes turn to the computer screen.
How long does this usually take?
It should be immediate return. You shoot the radar into the ground. The bone bounces back. The screen setting comes up. No, wait.
That's I think that might be stage directions.
The screen
That
suddenly
looks
comes
like
alive, yellow contour lines tracing across it in 3 waves, detailing a dinosaur skeleton.
This new program is incredible. A few more years of development and you don't even have to dig anymore.
Grant looks at him and his expression is positively wounded.
Well, what's the fun in that?
It looks a little distorted, but I don't think that's the computer.
Postmortem contraction of the posterior neck ligaments? Velociraptor?
Yes, good shape too. 5, 6 feet high. I'm guessing 9 feet long. Look at the...
He points to part of the skeleton, but when his finger touches the screen, the computer beeps at him and the image changes. He pulls his hand back as if it shocked him.
What's you do?
He touched it. Dr. Grant is not machine compatible.
They've got it in for me.
The volunteer laughs and touches a different part of the screen, which brings the original image back. Grant continues, but doesn't get as close.
Look at the half-moon shaped bone in the wrist. No wonder these guys learned to fly.
The group laughs. Grant is surprised.
Now, seriously, show of hands. How many of you have read my book?
Everyone stops laughing and looks away. Ellie raises her hand supportively. So does the volunteer. Grant sighs.
Great. Well, maybe dinosaurs have more in common with present-day birds than reptiles. Look at the pubic bone. It's turned backwards, just like a bird.
Read
A
it as
vertebrae
is,
full of
Jake.
hollows and air sacs, just like a bird.
Republic bone.
I say
Even
we
the
go-
word raptor means bird of prey.
The kid steps forward and looks at the computer skeleton critically.
That doesn't look very scary. More like a 6-foot turkey.
Everyone sort of draws in their breath and steps aside, revealing the kid standing alone. Grant turns to the
Oh,
kid,
no.
lowers his sunglasses, and stares at him like he's just come from another planet.
In his whole career.
Grant strolls over to the kid, puts his arms around his shoulders in a friendly way.
Try to imagine yourself in the Cretaceous period.
There we
That
go.
was the wrong choice.
No,
It's
no,
not.
no. This is Cretaceous
Movie.
Park.
It's called
Ellie rolls
Jurassic
her
Park,
eyes.
man.
Not the right.
Here we go.
You get your first look at the 6-foot turkey as you move into a clearing. But Raptor, he knew you were there a long time ago. He moves like a bird, lightly, bobbing his head, and you keep still because you think maybe his visual acuity is based on movement, like a T-Rex, and he'll lose you if you don't move. But no, not Velociraptor. You stare at him, and he just stares back. That's when the attack comes. Not from the front, no, from the side. From the other 2 raptors you didn't even know were there. Velociraptors, oh, go ahead.
Grant walks around the kid.
Velociraptor's a pack hunter, you see. He uses coordinated attack patterns, and he's out in force today, and he slashes at you with this.
He takes the claw from his pocket and holds it in the front of the raptor's 3-toed foot.
A 6-inch retractable claw, like a razor, on the middle toe. They don't bother to bite the jugular like a lion. They just slash here,
He points to
here,
his chest and thigh.
or maybe across the belly, spilling your intestines. Point is, you're alive when they start to eat you. Whole thing took about 4 seconds.
The kid is on the verge of tears.
So, try to show a little respect.
And with that, he walks back across the camp, returning to his skeleton. Ellie hurries to catch up with him. I love the idea of returning to your skeleton.
Go back to my bones.
The whole time
Back
he
to
was
the
without his skeleton.
All right, Ellie.
If you really wanted to scare the kid, you could have just pulled a gun on him.
Yeah, I know. Kids. You want to have one of those?
Well, not one of those. Well, yeah, possibly one at some point could be a good thing. What's so wrong with kids?
Oh, Ellie, look, they're noisy, they're messy, they're sticky, they're expensive.
Cheap, cheap, cheap.
They smell.
Oh my god, they do not. They don't smell.
They do smell. Some of them smell. Babies smell.
For real.
Oh, the one on the airplane had an accident, but usually babies don't smell.
They know very little about the Jurassic period. They know less about the Cretaceous.
What?
The Cretaceous.
Anything else, you old fossil?
Yeah, plenty. Some of them can't walk.
It frustrates me so much that I love you that I need to strangle you right now.
Ellie playfully takes Grant's hat off and gives him a tight hug. They kiss. Grant, a strange wind seems to be whipping up. Grant and Ellie look around, confused. The wind is getting stronger, blowing dirt and sand everywhere, filling in everything they've dug out, blowing the protective canvases off. Now there's a more familiar roar, and they look up to see it. A huge helicopter descending on the camp.
Get some canvases and cover anything that's exposed.
Grant's already on it, trying desperately to protect the skeleton he's excavating. He looks up at the helicopter and shouts, shaking his fist. Cut to exterior base camp day. Down at the base camp, the helicopter's landed. The pilot is already out, waiting for Grant to come down from the mountaintop like Moses steaming. Yeah, I remember when Moses started steaming in the Bible. That's my favorite part. Grant gestures wildly at him to turn the chopper off. Pilot points timidly to a mobile home across the camp. Grant runs to the trailer. Exterior trailer day! The door of the trailer slaps open and Grant storms in.
What the hell do you think you're doing in here?
The trailer serves as the dig's office. There are several long wooden tables set up, every inch covered with bone specimens that are neatly laid out, tagged, and labeled. Further along are ceramic dishes and crocks, soaking other bones in acid and vinegar. There's old dusty furniture in one of the trailer and a refrigerator. A man roots around in the refrigerator, his back to us, grumbling about the contents, which are mostly beer. His hands falls across a bottle of expensive champagne at the back.
Aha.
He pulls it out, the cork pops. The man turns around. John Hammond, 70-ish, is sprightly as hell, with bright shining eyes that say, "Follow me." Grant stares incredulously at the man holding his champagne bottle without an invitation.
Hey, we were saving that.
For today, I guarantee it.
And who in God's name do you think you are?
John Hammond. And I am delighted to finally meet you in person, Dr. Grant.
Mr. Hammond.
Hammond looks around the trailer approvingly at the enormous amount of work the bones represent.
I can see my 50,000 a year has been well spent.
The door slaps open again and Ellie comes in, just as pissed off as Grant was.
Okay, who's the jerk?
This is our paleobotanist, Dr. Ellie.
Sattler.
Dr. Sattler, Ellie, this is Mr. Hammond. John Hammond.
Did I say jerk?
I'm sorry for the dramatic entrance, but I'm in a hurry. Will you have a wee bit of a drink now and then?
Hammond begins to walk into the kitchen, making stuff at home. Ellie follows him and tries to help. Grant settles behind the table.
Come along then, don't let it get warm. Come on in, both of you, sit down.
As Hammond moves, they notice he walks with a slight limp and uses a cane. Or balance or style, it's hard to say which.
I have some samples all over the kitchen.
Come along, I know my way around a kitchen. Come along. Oh, sorry.
Ellie goes around towards Grant. She grabs a bottle of water. They look at each other, really aback by this guy's bravado, and sight down. Hammond drinks the glasses.
Well, now I'll get right to the point. I like you. Both of you. I can tell instantly with people. It's a gift.
New subject.
I own an island off the coast of Costa Rica. I leased it from a government and spent the last 5 years setting up a kind of biological preserve down there. Really spectacular. I spared no expense. It makes the one I had in Kenya look like a petting zoo. No doubt that sooner or later our attractions will drive the kids right out of their minds.
And what are those?
All versions of adults, honey.
He gives her a dirty look.
Not just kids, for everyone. We're going to open next year, unless the lawyers kill me first. I don't care for lawyers. You?
I don't really know any.
Well, I'm afraid I do. There's a particular pebble in my shoe. He represents my investors. He says they insist on outside opinions.
What kind of opinions?
Not to put a fine point on it, your kind. Let's face it, in your particular field, you're the top minds. If I could just get you two to sign off on the park, we give a wee testimonial, I could get back on schedule. Schedule.
Why would they care what we think?
What kind of a party is it?
It's right up your alley.
He hands Grant a drink.
Look, why don't you both, the pair of you, come down for the weekend? Love to have an opinion on the paleobotanist as well.
Hands Ellie a drink.
I've got a jet standing by a chateau.
No, I'm sorry. That wouldn't be possible.
Lights on the counter.
I'm sorry. That wouldn't be possible. We've just discovered a new skeleton, and
Pours himself a drink.
I could compensate you by funding your dig
this would be an awfully unusual time.
for a further 3 years.
Grant oofs as Ellie.
That's a thing.
Oh my god. Here's the plane.
Cut two.
Grant oofs.
Best
Sorry.
stage direction ever.
It's amazing.
Exterior, cafe, day. Dennis Nedry is in his late 30s, a big guy with a
Oh,
constant
God.
smile that could either be laughing with you or at you. You can never tell. He sits at a table in front of a Central American cafe eating breakfast. Another legend, San Jose, Costa Rica. Nedry looks up and sees a man get up a taxi. Louis Dodgson, 50-ish, wearing a large straw hat and looking almost too much like an American tourist. Dodgson clutches as attaché case close to him and scans the cafe furtively. Nedry laughs, shakes his hand, and waves to him.
Dodgson.
Dodgson hurries over to the table.
You shouldn't use my name.
Dodgson. We got Dodgson here. See, nobody cares. Nice hat. What are you trying to look like, a secret agent?
Dodgson ignores that, setting his attaché case down next to the table and slides towards Nedry.
$7.50.
Nedry smiles and pulls the attaché closer to him.
On delivery, 50,000 more ever viable embryo. That's 1.5 million. If you get all 15 species off the island.
Oh, I'll get them all.
Remember, viable embryos. There's no use to us if they don't survive.
How am I supposed to transport them?
Dodgson pulls an ordinary can of shaving cream from a shoulder bag he carries and sets it on the table.
The bottom screw's open. It's cooled and compartmentalized inside. They can even check it if they want. Press the top.
Nedry presses the top of the can and real shaving cream comes out. He grins, impressed. While Dodgson talks, Nedry looks around for somewhere to wipe the shaving cream and ends up dumping it on top of someone's jello in a dessert tray next to him.
There's enough cooling gas for 36 hours.
Nedry looks at the can.
What, no menthol?
Mr. Nedry, the embryos have to be back here in San Jose by then.
That's up to your guy on the boat. 7 o'clock tomorrow night at the East Dock. Make sure he got it right.
I was wondering, how are you planning to beat the security?
I got an 18-minute window. 18 minutes, and your company catches up on 10 years of research.
A waiter arrives and puts the check down on the table between them. Nedry looks down at it pointedly, then up at Dodgson.
Don't get cheap on me, Dodgson.
Dodgson rolls his eyes and picks up the check.
That was Hammond's mistake.
Exterior, open sea, day. A helicopter, engine construction emblazoned on the side, skims low over the shimmering Pacific.
That's the entire page.
Exterior helicopter.
It's me now.
Oh,
Exterior helicopter day. Grant, Ellie, Gennaro, and Malcolm are huddled in the back of the chopper. Hammond is in the front with the pilot. There are 2 other passengers as well. Donald Gennaro, the lawyer from the Amber Mine, now dressed in safari clothes, everything straight from Banana Republic. The other, Dr. Ian Malcolm, 40-ish, dressed in all black with a snakeskin boots and sunglasses. Malcolm.
Messed up, Henry.
Wait.
Give me a
My-
sec.
Get your jacket.
Yeah,
Oh,
get
yes.
his jacket. He needs to get his jacket. He needs to be sure.
Malcolm, who finds it hard to take his eyes off Ellie, leans over and shouts over the engine whine.
So, you two dig up dinosaurs?
try to.
Malcolm laughs, finding this very amusing, which confuses Hammond turns around, annoyed.
You'll have to get used to Dr. Malcolm. He suffers from a deplorable excess of personality, but especially for a mathematician. Chaotician.
What?
I think that's how you say it.
Malcolm's drunk.
That word has too many syllables.
I think it's chaotician.
Chaotician, actually.
Yeah.
Chaotician.
Hammond snorts, not even bothering to cover his contempt for Malcolm.
John doesn't subscribe to chaos, particularly what it has to say when he has this little science project.
Codswallop. Ian, you've never come close to explaining these concerns of yours about this island.
I certainly have, very clearly. Because of the behavior of the system in phase space.
Hammond just waves him off.
A load, if I may say so, of fashionable number crunching. That's all it is.
Poking at Hammond's knee,
John.
pushing him away.
Don't do that.
Dr. Grant, Dr. Sadler, you've heard of chaos theory?
No.
No?
No? Nonlinear
You.
equation?
Sorry.
Strange attractions. Dr. Settler, I refuse to believe that you're not familiar with the concept of attraction.
Grant just rolls his eyes as Malcolm gives her an oily grin. Ellie smiles, enjoying Grant's jealousy. Hammond turns to Gennaro and gives him a dirty look.
I bring scientists, you bring a rock star.
Hammond looks out the windshield and claps his hands excitedly.
There it is.
Up ahead, the others see it. Isla Nublar. It's a smallish island completely ringed by thick clouds that give it a lush, mysterious feel. The pilot pulls up over a spot in the clouds and starts to descend fast.
Bad wind shears. We have to drop pretty fast. Hold on, this can be a little thrilling.
The helicopter drops like a stone. Outside the window, they can see cliff walls racing by, uncomfortably close. They bounce like hell. This screenwriter really likes the phrase "like hell" or "as hell." They bounce like hell, hitting wind up and down drafts. Only Hammond still feels chatty.
We're planning an airstrip on pilings extending out into the ocean 12,000 feet. Like LaGuardia. Like LaGuardia, only a lot safer. What do you think?
They don't answer, just hold on. As they near the ground, a luminous white cloud cross appears below them, a landing pad shining through the plexiglass bubble on the floor of the chopper. The cross grows rapidly larger as the chopper plummets, but a sudden updraft catches them and they bounce skyward for a moment, then drop again, even faster if possible, before landing with a hard bump. It was in all caps, so I had to appropriate.
There's something with the sea
Exterior helicopter landing pad day. The chopper plummets and finally lands. One of the workers opens the door and the group gets out. Hammond looks out proudly. Exterior hilltop day. 2 large open-top jeeps roar down the hilltop away from the landing cross as the helicopter engines whine back to life and the rotors start to spin again. Ellie, Grant, and Malcolm hold on tight in the front jeep. Hammond and Gennaro are in the rear jeep. Both cars have drivers. I would hope so. They pass through an enormous gate and a 30-foot-high fence, which is closed behind them by 2 park attendants. There are large electrical insulators on the fences, warning lights that strobe importantly, and clear signs, quote, "Electrified fence, 10,000 volts." In the rear jeep, Gennaro regards the fences critically.
The full 50 miles of perimeter fence are in place?
And the concrete moats and the motion sensor tracking systems. Donald, dear boy, do try and relax and enjoy yourself.
Let's try and get something straight, John. This is not a weekend excursion. This is a serious investigation of the stability of this island. Your investors, whom I represent, are deeply concerned. 48 hours from now, if they aren't convinced, I am not convinced. I can shut you down, John.
48 hours from now, I'll be accepting your apologies. Now get out of the way so I can see them.
He shoves Gennaro aside to get a clear view of Grant, Ellie, and Malcolm.
I wouldn't miss this for the world.
The jeeps wind their way along a mountain road. In the lead jeep, Ellie stares off to the right, fascinated by the thick tropical plant life around them. She tilts her head as if something's wrong with this picture. She reaches out and grabs a hold of a leafy branch as they drive by, tearing it from the tree. In the rear jeep, Hammond, watching Grant, signals to his driver.
Just stop here. Slow.
He slows down, then stops. So does the front jeep. In the front jeep, Ellie stares at the leaf, amazed, running her hand lightly over it.
Alan!
But Grant's not paying attention. He's staring too at the other side of the jeep. Grant notices that several of the tree trunks are leafless, just as thick as the other trees, but gray and bare.
This shouldn't be here.
Grant twists in his seat, and the jeep stops and looks at
The jeep looks at
Yeah, wait a minute.
phrasing. Grant twists in his seat as this jeep stops and looks at one of the gray tree trunks.
Oh, I see.
Grant is looking. Ugh, the screenwriter. Riveted, he slowly stands up in his seat, as if to get closer. He moves to the top of the seat, practically on his tiptoes. He raises his head, looking up the length of the trunk. He looks higher, and higher, and higher. That's no tree trunk. That's a leg. Grant's jaw drops. His head falls all the way back, and he looks even higher, above the tree line.
This species of vermiform has been extinct since the Cretaceous period. This thing...
Grant, never tearing his eyes from the brachiosaur, reaches over and grabs Ellie's head, turning it to face the animal. She sees it and drops the leaf.
Oh my god.
Grant lets out a long, sharp a combination laugh and shout of joy. He gets out of the jeep and Ellie follows. Grant points to the thing and manages to put together his first word since its appearance.
Dinosaur!
A dinosaur, chewing the branches. Technically, it's a brachiosaur of the sauropod family, but we've always called it Brontosaurus. It crunches.
Oh, it crunches.
It crunches the
Crochet.
branches.
Yeah.
It crochets.
I can't.
Crochets the branch in its mouth, which is some 35 feet off the ground, and at the end of its long, arching neck, it stares down at the people in the car with a pleasant, stupid gaze.
Aww.
Ellie looks up at the sauropods in wonder. They've pretty light on their feet, a far
my
cry
God.
from the sluggish, lumbering brutes we would have expected. Hammond gets out of his jeep and comes back to join them. He looks like a proud parent showing off his kid. Ian Malcolm looks at Hammond, amazed, with an expression that is a mixture of admiration and reproachment. Henry.
That's you, Henry.
You did it? You crazy son of a bitch. You did it.
Grant and Ellie continue walking, following the dinosaur.
The movement!
Agility, you're right.
In their amazement, Grant and Ellie talk right over each other.
Ellie, we can tear up the rule book on cold-bloodedness. It doesn't apply. They're totally wrong. This is a warm-blooded creature. They're totally wrong.
We were wrong. Case closed. This thing doesn't live in a swamp to support its body weight, for God's sake.
Several of the top branches are suddenly ripped away. Another sauropod, reaching for a branch high above their heads, stands effortlessly on their hind legs.
That thing's got a, 25, 27-foot neck?
The brachiosaur? 30.
Grant and Ellie continue to walk.
You're going to sit there and try to tell me it can push blood up a 30-foot neck without a four-chambered heart and get around like that? Like that? This is a knockout punch for warm-bloodedness.
We clocked the T-Rex at 32 miles an hour.
You've got a T-Rex. He's got a T-Rex. A T-Rex. He said he's...
Say again?
Yes, we have a T-Rex.
Grant feels faint. He sits down on the ground.
Honey, put your head between your knees and breathe.
Hammond walks in front of them and looks out.
Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Sadler, welcome to Jurassic Park.
They turn and look at the view again. It's a beautiful vista, reminiscent of an African plain. A whole herd of dinosaurs crosses the plain, maybe 100 that we see in a quick glance alone.
Ellie, they're moving in herds. They do move in herds.
You were right.
How did you do it?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was an option. I'll show you.
Finally, we notice Gennaro, who was sort of faded into the background while others reacted. He's just staring, a look of absolute rapture on his face. He speaks in a voice that is hushed and reverent.
We are gonna make a fortune with this place.
16, omitted.
Oh, I want to know what that was.
It was the,
Omitted.
the dinosaur sex scene.
Lesbian dinosaur sex scene, don't forget.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was implied.
I mean, what do you think those necks are for?
We can't have the public knowing that lesbians exist. We just can't.
Facts.
Can't.
Let alone lesbian dinosaurs.
Exactly.
That's just too much. It's
Happy
like,
Pride Month.
Yay!
yay. All right, 17. Exterior main compound day. Wow, messing this up already. The main of Jurassic Park is a large area with 3 main structures connected by walkways and surrounded by 2 impressive fences. The outer fence almost 20 feet high.
Got it.
Okay.
Boom.
Outside the fences, the jungle has been encouraged to grow naturally. The largest building is a visitor center, several stories tall, in which still skeletal unfinished.
Okay.
Its walls still skeletal and unfinished. I can't read. There's a huge glass rotunda in the center. The second building looks like a private residence, a compound unto itself, with smoked windows and its own perimeter fence. The third structure isn't really a building at all, but the impressive cage we saw earlier, overgrown inside with thick jungle foliage. The Jeep pulls up in front of the visitor center. Exterior visitor center day. Hammond leads Grant, Ellie, Gennaro, and Malcolm up to the stairs. Talking as he goes, 2 ladies open the doors to the visitor center. What is wrong with me today, folks?
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Thank you. Interior visitor center day. The lobby of the still unfinished visitor center is a high-ceiling place and has to be housed its central feature, a large skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus that is attacking bellowing
sauropod, probably?
Attacking bellowing sauropod. Workmen in the basket of a condor crane are still assembling skeletons. A staircase climbs the far wall to another wing. Continuing.
The most advanced amusement park in the world, combining all the latest technologies. I'm not talking rides, you know. Everybody has rides. We made a living biological attraction so astonishing they'll capture the imagination of the entire planet.
Grant stares up at the dinosaur skeletons and just shakes his head. Ellie catches his reaction.
What are you thinking?
We're out of a job.
Ian Malcolm pops in between them.
And don't you mean extinct?
Ian Malcolm character. Ellie and Malcolm move on ahead. Cut 2. Interior showroom day.
Why don't you all sit down?
Grant, Ellie,
we
and
go.
Malcolm take their seats in the front row of the 50-seat auditorium. Gennaro sits behind them. Hammond walks over to the giant screen in front of them. Behind him, a huge image of himself beams down at him from the giant television screen.
Hello, John. Say hello.
Then fumbling with his 3x5 cards.
Oh, I've got lines.
He scans them, looking for his place. The screen Hammond continues without him.
Oh, hang on, sorry. Fine, I guess, but how did I get here? Here, let me show you. First, I'll need a drop of blood. Your blood.
The screen Hammond extends his finger, and the sage Hammond reaches out and mimes poking it with a needle.
Ouch, John, that hurt. Relax, John. It's all part of the miracle of cloning.
While the 2 Hammonds rattle on, the screen image splits into 2 Hammonds, then 4, then 8, and so on, like a shampoo commercial.
Yes, like
Why?
a shampoo commercial.
Why?
Yeah, very interesting comparison there. The scene in the movie does not look like a shampoo commercial, by the way.
Also, why is the multiplication the comparison of the shampoo commercial?
You're
Yeah.
not multiply?
I hate when I have to kill my clone after taking a shower.
Right?
You know
Yeah,
how
it
shampoo
sucks.
sucks a lot?
What?
Okay.
Continue.
Grant, Ellie, and Malcolm huddle together excitedly in the audience. Grant.
Oh, cloning from what? Boy extraction has never recreated an intact DNA strand.
Not without massive sequence gaps.
Paleo DNA? From what source? Where do you get 100 million year old dinosaur blood?
Shh.
In the film, the screen Hammond is joined by another figure, this one animated. Mr. DNA is a cartoon character, a happy-go-lucky recombinant DNA. Mr. DNA jumps onto the screen in Hammond's head and slices down his nose.
Well, Mr. DNA, where'd you come from? From your blood. Just one drop of your blood contains billions of strands of DNA, the building blocks of life.
21, admit
What
it.
was scene
That's
21?
the other dinosaur lesbian sex scene.
Yeah. The second one.
In the film, Mr. DNA.
Mr. DNA watches them.
This is how we clone now. Just watch this.
Yeah.
Mr. DNA has taken over the show and is speaking to the audience from the screen.
A DNA strand like me is a blueprint for building a living thing. And sometimes animals that went extinct millions of years ago, like dinosaurs, left their blueprints behind for all of us to find. We just had to know where to look.
The screen image changes from animated to a nature photography look. It's an extreme close-up of a mosquito. Its fangs suck the deep into some animal's flesh. Its body pulsing and engorging
Suck
with
the
blood.
deep. Sorry, go ahead.
What?
It's just says suck the deep. That means.
The deep.
Go, sorry.
I'll be back in a second. I have lines for a minute.
Engorging with blood it's drinking.
100 million years ago, there were mosquitoes, just like today. And just like today, they fed on the blood of animals, even dinosaurs.
The camera races back to show the mosquito is perched on top of a giant animated brachiosaur. The image changes to another close-up, this one of a tree branch. Its bark glistening with golden sap. Mr. DNA leaps on the sap.
Sometimes after biting a dinosaur, the mosquito would land on a branch of a tree and get stuck in the sap.
The engorged mosquito lands in the tree sap and gets stuck. So is Mr. DNA. He tugs his legs, but they stay stuck.
Whoa!
Now the tree sap flows over them, covering up Mr. DNA and the mosquito completely. Mr. DNA shouts from inside the tree sap.
After a long time, the tree sap would get hard and become fossilized, just like a dinosaur bone, preserving the mosquito inside.
A science laboratory. The place buzzes with activity. Everywhere there are piles of amber, tagged and labeled with scientists in white coats examining it under microscopes. One scientist moves a complicated drill apparatus next to the chunk of amber with a fossilized mosquito inside and bores into the side of it. Mr. DNA escapes through the drill hole as the scientist moves the amber onto a mosquito and under a microscope and peers through the eyepiece.
This fossilized tree sap, which we call amber, waited millions of years with the mosquito inside until Jurassic Park scientists came along.
Through the microscope, we see the greatly enlarged image of a mosquito through the lens.
Using sophisticated techniques, they extract the preserved blood from the mosquito, and
A long needle is inserted through the amber into the thorax of the mosquito and makes an extraction.
bingo! Dino DNA.
Mr. DNA jumps down in front of the DNA data as it races by a headache speed. He holds his head dizzy by it.
A full DNA strand contains 3 billion genetic codes. If we looked at screens like these once a second for 8 hours a day, it'd take 2 years to look at the entire strand. It's that long. And since it's so old, it's full of holes. That's where our geneticists take over.
Interior genetics lab day. Scientists toil in a lab with 2 huge white towers at either side.
Thinking machine supercomputers and gene sequencers break down the strand in minutes.
One scientist in the back has his arms encased in 2 long rubber tubes. He's strapped into a bizarre apparatus, staring into a complex headpiece and moving his arms gently, like Tai Chi movements.
And virtual reality displays show our geneticists the gaps in the DNA sequence. Since most animal DNA is 90% identical, we use the complete DNA of a frog.
On the VR display, we see an actual DNA strand, except it has a big hole in the center where where the vital information is missing. Mr. DNA bounced into the frame, carrying a bunch of letters in one hand. It's a bunch of letters.
Lesbian
He
eyes.
puts it into the gap and turns back against it, grunting as he shoves into place.
To fill in the holes and complete the code. Whew.
He brushes his hands off, satisfied.
Now we can make a baby dinosaur.
In the audience. The scientists look at each other, not sure.
All this has some dramatic music. Da-dum, 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 dum, march or something. It's not written yet, and the tour moves on.
He throws a switch and safety bars appear out of nowhere and drop over their seats, clinking into place.
For your own safety.
The row of seats moves out of the auditorium.
Interior hallway day. The row of seats moves slowly past a row of double-paned glass window beneath a large sign that reads genetics/fertilization/hatchery. Inside, technicians work at microscopes. In the back is a section entirely lit by blue ultraviolet light. Mr. DNA voice continues over a speaker in each seat.
Our fertilization department is where the dinosaur DNA takes the place of the DNA in unfertilized emu or ostrich eggs. And then it's on to the nursery, where we welcome the dinosaurs back into the world.
Gennaro has a wondrous grin plastered on his face, just loving everything now.
This is
Henry.
Are these characters animatronics?
No, we don't have any animatronics here. These are real miracle workers of Jurassic Park.
Grant, Ellie, and Malcolm are frustrated, leaning forward, straining against the safety bars for a better look. But the cars keep going.
Wait a minute, how do you interrupt the cellular mitosis?
Can't we see the unfertilized host eggs?
But the cars are already moving on to another set of windows, which give a glimpse into what looks like a control room.
Shortly. Our control room contains some of the most sophisticated automation ever attempted in...
Grant strains again to look back into the labs, but the cars move past again, no intention of slowing down.
You stop these things.
Sorry, it's kind of a ride.
Let's get out of here.
The two of Grant and Malcolm team up on the safety bars. Grant shoves his all the way back with one foot, and Malcolm does the same. They stand up and head for the door of the hatchery.
Hey, you can't do that.
Too late. Ellie slips out from under her safety bar, too, and stomps right across Gennaro's seat.
Can they do that?
They reach the door to the hatchery. Grant tries to shove it open, but just thuds into it. He rattles the handle, but the door won't budge as it's on a security key card system. Hammond steps up and takes his glasses off.
Relax, Donald, relax. They're scientists. They ought to be curious.
He steps up to the code box.
It's a retinal scanner.
He pushes various code numbers. The door opens. He steps aside, and the group eagerly goes up the stairs. Interior hallway, stairs, day. Grant runs up the stairs. Malcolm and Ellie eagerly try to get a look at the lab. Hammond and Gennaro come up and join Grant at the door.
John, what I'm just saying.
Relax, Donald, relax. The scientists, they ought to be curious.
He just said that. Hammond reaches the door. Grant tries to pry it open.
Dr. Grant, just a minute. Okay. Remember that's what Samuel Johnson said. Curiosity is one of the most permanent and certain characteristics of a vigorous intellect. Right, come along.
Interior, hatchery/nursery, day. The hatchery is a vast open room, bathed in infrared light. Long tables run the length of the place, all covered with eggs, their pale outlines obscured by hissing, low mist that's all through the room.
Come on in.
Hammond takes off his hat and hands it to one of the technicians. Henry Wu, late 20s, Asian American, wearing a white lab coat, works at a nearby table, making notes.
Good day, Henry.
Good day, sir.
Grant goes to a round, open... something.
A round. Go ahead.
Grant goes to a round, open, with various eggs under a strong light. One of the eggs makes strong movements. A robotic arm steadies the shell.
My God, look!
Hammond, Ellie, and Malcolm join him, as does Henry Wu.
Perfect timing. I hope it hatched before I had to go to the boat.
Henry, why didn't you tell me? I insist on being here when they're born.
Hammond puts on a pair of plastic gloves. The egg begins to crack. The robotic arm moves away. A baby dinosaur tries to get out, just its head sticking out of the shell. That's so cute. Hammond reaches down and carefully breaks away egg fragments, helping the baby dinosaur out of its shell.
Come on then, out you come. They imprint on the first living creature they come in contact with. That helps them to trust me. I've been present for the birth of every animal on this island. Just look at that.
Surely not the ones that have been bred in the wild.
That's still you.
Gosh. Actually, they can't breed in the wild. Population control is one of our security precautions here. There's no unauthorized breeding in Jurassic Park.
Grant and Ellie exchange a look. She manages not to smile.
Well, how do you know they can't breed? Because all the animals in Jurassic Park are female. We've engineered them that way.
Hammond keeps his attention trained on the new dinosaur.
There you are. Out you come.
Oh my god.
Could I have a tissue, please?
Certainly, coming right up.
The animal is now free. Hammond sets it down carefully next to its shell. Grant picks it up and holds it in the palm of his hand, under the incubator's heat light.
Blood temperature feels like high 80s.
91.
Grant picks up the large, broken half shell, but the robotic arm snatches it back out of his hand and puts it down.
Homeothermic, it holds that temperature. Incredible.
Malcolm is looking at Hammond, skeptical. Henry's going to have a conversation with himself again.
But again, how do you know they're all female? Does someone go to the park and lift up the dinosaur's skirts? We control their chromosomes. It's not that difficult. All first-breed embryos are inherently female anyway. It takes an extra hormone in the right developmental stage to create a male. We simply deny them that.
Your silence intrigues me.
John, the kind of control you're attempting is not possible. If there's one thing the history of evolution has taught us, it's that life will not be contained. Life breaks free. It expands to new territories. It crashes through barriers, painfully, maybe even dangerously. So, well, there it is.
Is this him making a point on his chaos theory?
Yes.
I was about to say the same thing, Nicole.
Oh yeah.
Great.
Of course.
Every line he has is
Life finds a way.
Not
Great,
yet.
kind of thing.
Henry.
Ellie listens to him, impressed.
How do you do that?
Impressed.
That was wrong.
Sorry. Watch her head. Support her head.
Grant,
Oh, shit.
ignoring the others, picks up the baby dinosaur and holds it on the palm of his hand under the incubator's heat light. He spreads the tiny animal out on the back of his hand and delicately runs his finger over its tail, counting the vertebrae. A look of puzzled recognition crosses his face.
You're implying that a group composed entirely of females will breed? I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
I didn't know the line was coming up. I'm sorry. Too bad. I don't have. I'm out of drink. Shit.
Well, you need to refresh.
Next
Okay.
year.
And then we can pause.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. You can't control anything. I agree with that. I like that.
She walks over to Malcolm. He smiles at her, too warmly.
Mm. Dun dun dun.
Y'all, these are spicy.
Okay.
Is this in the movie?
Oh yeah, they flirt a lot.
Oh,
in the
totally. They flirt. Yeah.
This one? You can talk.
Well, he flirts with her.
I don't know how to say it. You're just articulate. You say everything that I think, that I feel. It's exciting.
That's not the one they went with for the movie.
I don't think so. Yeah.
That's right.
I think they went with I find it so
That is-
exciting.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll break through.
I get
I know, it's very exciting
scary.
and scary.
When people try to control things that's out of their power,
It's anti-nature.
anti-nature.
That was so horny. Grant doesn't notice.
That was so horny. Sorry.
Shut up.
By a
Grant doesn't
chaoticist
notice
again.
As he's still obsessed with the infant dinosaur, measuring and weighing it on a nearby lab bench. He stops, a strange look on his face. He knows what this animal is, but it can't be. Grant, dreading the answer.
What species is this?
Well, it's a velociraptor.
Grant and Ellie turn slowly and look at each other, then look at Hammond, astonished.
You bred raptors?
No.
Exterior
Wait a sec.
Pause!
I need to refresh.
some highlights from the break. Jake is an e-girl. Is gonna show off his thighs. I haven't been a little boy yet. I think that's all.
Wait, Nicole,
And Nicole hasn't been Samuel Jackson yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Nicole has not been Samuel L. Jackson yet.
we're getting ready, y'all.
We're getting ready.
It's gonna be a bit. I
Yep.
think. Yeah.
Love it.
All right.
Drinks refresh.
Um,
Go.
All right. Let's go.
29. Exterior raptor pen, day. Grant charges across the compound, a fire in his eyes, ahead of Ellie, Malcolm, and Gennaro. Hammond struggles to keep up.
Sorry, hang on a minute. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
Dr. Grant, Dr. Grant, we plan to show you the raptors later after lunch.
But Grant has stopped abruptly next to the Velociraptor pen, which we recognize as the heavily fortified cage we sum earlier, which the San Quentin towers at one end. That was a mess. Grant stands right up against the fence, eyes wide, dying for a glimpse. Hammond catches up, slightly out of breath.
Dr. Grant, as I was saying, we've laid out lunch for you before you head out into the park. Alejandro, our gourmet chef.
What are they doing?
As they watch, a giant crane lowers something large down into the middle of the jungle foliage inside the pen. Something very large. It's a steer. They, poor thing, looks disconcerted as hell. There it is again!
Oh, there it is!
What was this movie's cocaine budget like? There's so much cocaine in this script.
Helpless. It's in a harness.
We have that
Its legs in the air.
There's so many typos in this.
Eating them.
I'm like,
Moving along.
Alejandro is preparing a delightful meal for us. Chilean sea bass, I believe. Shall we?
Grant goes up to the viewing dock. The others follow, staring as the steer disappears into the shroud of foliage. The line from the crane hangs for a moment. The jungle seems to grow very quiet. They all stare at the motionless crane line. It jerks suddenly, like a fishing pole finally getting a nibble. There's a pause. And then a frenzy! The line jerks every which way. The jungle plants sway and snap from some frantic activity within. There is a cacophony of growling, of snapping, of wet crunches. That mean the steer is literally being torn to pieces and is almost makes it worse that we can't see anything of what's going on. And then it's quiet again. The line jerks a few times, then stops. Slowly, the sound of the jungle starts up again.
Fascinating animals. Fascinating.
Oh my god.
Give time, they'll draw out the T-Rex. Guarantee it.
I want to see them. Can we get closer?
Ellie puts a hand on his arm, like calming an overexcited child.
Alan, these aren't bones anymore.
We're still perfecting the viewing
Ew.
system. The raptors seem to be a bit resistant to integration into a park setting.
A voice comes from behind them.
It should all be destroyed.
They turn and look at the man who spoke. Robert Muldoon, the grim-faced man who was present at the accident in the beginning, is 40-ish British.
He's 40-ish British.
40-ish British.
40-ish
So
British.
how do you 40-ish?
And how does one
He
Brit?
joins them and takes his hat off. When Muldoon talks, you listen.
Robert. That's what?
Oh, sorry. That's you.
Jacob.
Oh, yeah. Robert. Robert Muldoon, my game warden from Kenya. A bit of an alarmist, I'm afraid, but he's dealt with the raptors more than anyone.
Alan Grant, tell me, what kind of metabolism do they have? What's their growth rate?
Or rate of growth.
They're lethal at 8 months, and I do lethal. I've hunted most things that can hunt you, but the way these things move. Fast for a biped? Cheetah speed. 50, 60 miles per hour if they ever got out in the open, and they're astonishing jumpers.
Yes, which is why we take extreme precautions. The viewing area below us will have 8-inch tempered glass set in reinforced steel frames to...
Do they show intelligence with the brain cavity like theirs we assumed? They show extreme intelligence, even problem solving, especially the big one. We bred 8 originally, but when she came in, she took over the pride and killed all but 2 of the others. That one, when she looks at you, you can see she's thinking, working things out. She's the reason we have to feed them like this. She had them all attacking the fences when the feeders came.
The fences are electrified, right?
That's right, but they never attacked the same place twice. They were testing the fences for weaknesses, systematically. They remembered.
Behind them, the crane whirs back to life, raising the cable back up out of the raptor pen.
Oh, God.
The guests turn and stare as the end portion of the cable becomes visible. The steer has been dragged completely away, leaving only the tattered, bloody harness. Hammond claps his hands together excitedly.
Who's hungry? After you, my dear.
Is this still me?
This is me now.
Okay.
Interior
Okay.
Center presentation room day. Hammond, Grant, Ellie, Malcolm, and Gennaro eat lunch at a long table in the visitor center restaurant. There's a large buffet table and 2 waiters serve them. The room is darkened and Hammond is showing slides of various scenes all around them. Hammond's own recorded voice describes current and future features of the park, while slides flash artist renderings of all of them. The real Hammond turns and speaks over the narration.
None of these attractions have been finished yet. The park will open with the basic tour you're about to take, and then other rides will come online after 6 or 12 months. Absolutely spectacular designs, spared no expense. Drink.
Oh, that's a drink.
Drink, people.
So I had to drink for the cow.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh, two drinks.
Blanche.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
To the cow.
I got mint.
to the steer.
The steer.
Okay, more slides click past. I think
More
that's steer.
slides click past. A series of graphs dealing with profits, attendance, and other fiscal projections. Donald Gennaro, who has become increasingly friendly with Hammond, even giddy, grins from ear to ear.
We can charge anything we want. 2,000 a day, 10,000 a day. People will pay it. And then there's the merchandising.
Donald, this park has not was not built to Carter? To cater
Cater.
only to the super rich. I know, yeah.
Carter.
It says Carter there, but yeah. Everyone in the world's got a right to enjoy these animals.
Sure, they will. They will. We'll have a coupon day or something.
That was the laugh of an alien who doesn't know what a laugh is.
I like this guy.
Yeah, I like this guy. Exactly.
Where am I? Grant looks down at the plate he's eating from. It's in the shape of the island itself. He looks at his
The
drink.
plate?
Yeah, that's cool. It's got a T-Rex on it and a splashy Jurassic Park logo. There are a stack of folded amusement park style maps on the table in front of Grant. He picks one up. Boldly across the top it says, "Fly United to Jurassic Park."
It sucks.
From combined revenue streams for all 3 parks should reach $8 to $9 billion a year. That's conservative, of course. There's no reason to speculate wildly.
I've never been a rich man. It's nice to hear. Is it nice?
Ian Malcolm, who has been watching the screens with outright contempt, snorts as if he's finally had enough.
The lack of humility before nature that's been displayed here staggers me.
They all turn and look at him.
Thank you, Dr. Malcolm, but I think things are a little different than you and I feared. Yeah, no. A lot worse.
He's playing so many different characters.
The range of this man.
I know, right?
Now, wait a second. We haven't even seen the park yet. Let's just hold our concerns until, or alternatively, wait, we were invited to this island to evaluate the safety conditions of the park. Physical containment. The theories are all simple systems of complex behaviors. The animals in a zoo environment will eventually begin to behave in an unpredictable fashion. Have nothing to do with that evaluation. This is not some existential furlough. This is an on-site inspection. You're a doctor. Do your job. You are invalidating your own assessment. I'm sorry, John.
All right, Donald, all right. But let him talk. I want to hear all viewpoints. I truly do. Or I truly am, whatever.
Yeah, why is that an option?
It's fine.
Don't you see
Whatever.
the danger, John? Inherent in what you're doing here? Genetic power is the most awesome force we've ever seen on this planet, but you wield it like a kid who's found his dad's gun. If I may, it is hardly appropriate to start hurling, excuse me, generalizations before I'll tell you. The problem with scientific power you've used is it didn't require any discipline to attain it. You read what others have done, you took the next step. You didn't even earn the knowledge yourself, so you didn't take the responsibility for it. You stood on the shoulder of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you knew it, you patented it, you packaged it, slapped on a plastic lunchbox, now you want to sell it.
You don't give us our due credit. Our scientists have done things that no one could ever do before.
Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should. Science
already took a drink.
Pesticides, but it can't tell us not to use them. Science created a nuclear reactor, but it can't tell us not to build it.
But this is nature. Why not give an extinct species a second chance? I mean, condors. Condors are on the verge of extinction. If I had created a flock of them on the island, you wouldn't be saying any of this. Or, yeah.
Well, hold on. This is no species that was obliterated by deforestation or the building of a dam. Dinosaurs had theirs shut. It just selected them for extinction.
I don't understand this Luddite attitude. What is that word? What?
Luddite.
Luddite.
Luddite? That's a
That
thing?
one is actually correct.
Okay, fine, all right. This Luddite attitude, especially from a scientist. How could we stand in the light of discovery and not act?
There's, what's so great about discovery? It's a violent, penetrative act that scars what it explores. That's what do you call discovery? I call the rape of the natural world.
Yeah, that's better.
Let's hear from the others. Dr. Grant, I'm so, Dr. Settler.
The question is, how much can you know about an extinct ecosystem, and therefore, how could you assume you can control it? You have plants right here in this building, for example, that are poisonous. You pick them because they look pretty, but these are aggressive living things that have no idea what century they're living in and will defend themselves, violently if necessary. Exasperated, Hammond turns to Grant, who looks shell-shocked.
Dr. Grant, if there's one person who can appreciate all of this.
But Grant speaks quietly, really thrown by all of this.
I feel elated and frightened, and the world has just changed so radically. We're all running to catch up. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but look.
He leans forward, a look of true concern on his face.
Dinosaurs and man, two species separated by 65 million years of evolution, have just been suddenly thrown back into the mix together. How can we have the faintest idea of what to expect?
I don't believe it. I expected you to come down here and defend me from these characters, and the only one I've got on my side is this blood-sucking lawyer.
Blood-sucking lawyer?
I can't find it. Thank you.
One of the waiters whispers to Hammond.
On my screen, it actually looked like you were
Yeah.
on my screen. They're here.
Who?
Interior Visitor Center lobby day. Hammond, Grant, Ellie, Malcolm, and Gennaro walks out of the restaurant and
Oh God,
they hear they come. They head down the stairs and pass the
my
skeleton
least favorite characters.
doors again.
You four are going to have a little company out in the park. Spend a little time with our target audience. Maybe they'll help you get to the spirit of this place.
What does he mean by target audience?
Hammond turns toward the door of the center and throws his arms out expansively.
Kids!
Expensively.
Standing in the doorway to the center, break into a broad smiles. Tim, the boy. He's about 9 years
The boy.
old. Alexix, his
Lexics.
looks around,
Cocaine budget.
Cocaine.
Most of it
Alright,
went
go
to
get to
Tim.
Keep going.
looks around 12.
Grandpa!
They race across the lobby and into Hammond's arms, knocking him over on the steps.
We miss you.
Thanks for the presents.
We love the presents.
You must be careful with me. Did you like the helicopter?
It was great. It drops. We were dropping.
Grant looks on. Exterior Visitor Center day. Two modified Ford Explorers leap out of an underground garage beneath the visitor center. They move quietly with a faint electronic hum and straddle a partially buried metal rail is the middle of the road. They stop where the group is gathered. Ellie is off to the side with Alexis, introducing herself warmly. Hammond is with Malcolm, Grant, and Gennaro.
Have a heart, gentlemen. Their parents are getting a divorce and they need the diversion.
Holy shit.
Hey, where are the brakes?
Brakes? Oh, no brakes. They're electric cars, guided by this track in the roadway and totally non-polluting, top of the line.
It's an interactive CD-ROM. CD-ROM. Oh.
Wow!
Look, see? You just touch the right part of the screen and it talks about whatever you want.
Spare no expense. Have fun. I'll be watching you from the control or back, I guess from the control. Come along, my dear. You'll have to ride in the second car. I promise you'll have a real wonderful time.
Oh, thank you so much. So, you'll see you later then.
You'll see you later.
I sure will.
Hammond turns and heads back towards the visitor center.
I'll ride with Dr. Oh, fuck, wait, hang on. I'll ride with Dr. Sattler.
That looks great, actually.
Grant frowns, not liking this one bit. He moves to follow, but Tim cuts him off and stares up at him wide-eyed.
I've read your book.
Yeah?
Oh my God.
Grant heads for the rear car. Tim follows.
You really think dinosaurs turned into birds? And that's where all the dinosaurs went?
Grant opens the door of the rear car and climbs in. Tim follows.
Well, a few species may have evolved along those lines. Yeah.
A mechanical voice intones from inside.
Who's voting?
Me?
I don't know who it is.
2 to 4 passengers.
Oh, this is me. 2 to 4 passengers to a car, please. Children under 10 must be accompanied by an adult.
Great. Tim is right behind Grant, so Grant keeps moving across the back seat of the car and out the other door, but Tim follows.
Because they sure don't look like birds to me. I heard a meteor hit the Earth and made it look like this 100-mile crater someplace down in
Listen,
Mexico.
Tim, which car were you planning on?
Whichever one you are.
Grant goes to the front car again, opens the door, and holds it for Tim, who climbs in the back seat, rattling on and on.
Then I heard about this thing in Omni, about the meteor making all this heat that made a bunch of diamond dust, and that changed the weather, and they died because of the weather. Then my teacher told me about this other book by a guy named Thacker.
Parker.
The dinosaurs died of a bunch of diseases.
Slam! Grant closes the car door on Tim. He
Yes.
turns and heads for the rear vehicle and bumps right into Lex.
That's a 9-year-old kid!
I fucking hate him. Sorry.
I love you.
She said I should ride with you because it would be good for you.
Grant looks over at Ellie annoyed.
She's a deeply neurotic woman.
Cut to interior control room day. The Jurassic Park control room looks like a mission control for a space launch.
Oh boy.
Several computer terminals and dozens of video screens that display images of various dinosaurs taken from all over the park. Hey, that's the mechanical whatever, the maintenance shed. That's not the control room. You call yourself a fan. I'm kidding.
Russ is a fake gamer girl.
Whoa!
Anyways,
Rude.
How much do you sell your bath water for?
Start the bidding.
It was your pink hair.
Read the screenplay.
there's
Please.
a large glass map of the island at the front of the room that is lit up like a Christmas tree with various colored lights, each one with a number and identification code next to it. But the place is unfinished with
Wait, it
unattached
should be red.
construction materials
Hmm.
and ladders scattered about. The mood among the half-dozen technicians present is chaotic as they rush around with last-minute adjustments. Muldoon whisks in through the double doors. Hammond is right behind him. They go straight to the main console where Ray Arnold, 40-ish, a chronic worrier and chain smoker, is seated.
National Weather Service is tracking a tropical storm about 75 miles west of us.
Hammond sighs and looks over Arnold's shoulder.
Why didn't I build in Orlando?
I'll keep an eye on it. Maybe it'll swing south like the last one.
Ray, start the tour program.
He punches a button on the console.
Hold on to your butts.
So hold on to your butts should be normalized. We should use that more often.
Yes.
Agree.
Cut to exterior visitor center day with a loud chunk. I don't like that at all. Floors start towards the electric pathway. Gennaro, Tim, and Lex are in the front vehicle. Grant, Ellie, and Malcolm in the rear. 33A, exterior main gate stay. They pass through two enormous pyramid gates, torches blazing on either side. 34, exterior Jurassic Park day. In the rear car. In the rear car! The Explorer's speakers blare with fanfare of trumpets, and the interior voice screen flashes, "Welcome to Jurassic Park." A familiar voice comes over the speaker.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. You are now entering the lost world of the prehistoric past. A world creatures long gone from the face of the earth, which you are privileged to see for the first time.
Interior controller. Hammond watches the monitor.
Damn it.
Grandchildren are enjoying themselves. That's not a piece of information I needed to know.
Yeah. By the way, that's James Earl Jones or Richard Kiley.
Okay, I guess I gotta do a James Earl Jones voice.
No sense.
Fence.
In the park, the fences are retaining walls are covered with greenery and grass to heighten the illusion of moving through a jungle. In the front car. Oh, that's me. The accident took place in a restricted area. It would not have been available to public access, so how can the safety of the public be called into question? The cars come to a stop to the top of a low-rise, or a break in the foliage gives them a view down a sloping field that's broken by a river. The tour voice continues.
Fuck it, I'm sticking with the robot voice. To the right, you will see a herd of the first
fine.
dinosaurs on our tour called Dilophosaurus.
In the front car, Tim and Lex practically slam up against the windows to get a look. Neither of you had butted your camera, so I'm a little disappointed.
Lex still had a cigarette in her mouth.
Let's do it again, my bad.
Henry, this is
Cigarette in her
you.
mouth.
Smoking shot.
It fits her vibe.
It's me again?
Yes,
The safety. That's the problem I had to answer.
shh. I can't see.
What are we looking for?
Dilophosaurus.
In the rear car, Grant looks at his map. Ellie, hearing the voice, reacts.
Oh shit.
Dilophosaurus.
Grant, Malcolm, and Ellie press against the windows. Down near the riverbank. There are a lot of beautiful plants, but no sign of a herd or anything. The tour voice continues anyway.
One of the earliest carnivores we now know, Dilophosaurus is actually poisonous, spitting its venom at its prey, causing blindness and eventually paralysis, allowing the carnivore to eat at its leisure. This makes Dilophosaurus a beautiful but deadly addition to Jurassic Park.
Corny, scary music plays over the speaker. In the front car.
There's nothing there.
In the rear car.
Alan, where?
Grant and the others sit back. Disappointed.
Damn.
On the road, cars move on as they roll past windows the headlights are on, even in the daytime. Cut to interior control room day. Ray Arnold
In fact-
watches the computer screen and the video monitors at the same time, keeping an eye on the cars as they move through the park. Hammond hovers over his shoulder.
Vehicle headlights are on and don't respond. Those shouldn't be running off the car batteries.
He sighs and reaches for a clipboard hanging next to his chair and jots this down.
Item 151 on today's glitch list. We've got all the problems of a major theme park and a major zoo. And the computer's not even on its feet yet.
Hammond shakes his head and turns to the technician, Les Ray, who still has his back to them, watching a Costa Rican game show on one of the monitors and drinking a Jolt Cola.
Dennis, our lives are in your hands and you have butterfingers.
The technician turns around in his chair and extends his arms in the Christ-like pose. Wait, what? Why? As we get a good look at him, we get the
Christ-like
sinking feeling that we've seen him before, and we have. Dennis Nedry is the man
Okay.
who accepted a suitcase full of cash in San Jose.
Hang on, wait, I wasn't ready. wait.
Wasn't
wait.
ready.
Hurry,
hurry!
Okay.
One eternity later.
I am totally unappreciated in my time. We can run the whole park from this room with minimal staff for up to 3 days. You think that kind of automation is easy or cheap? You know anybody who can network 8 connection machines and debug 2 million lines of code for what I bid this job? Because I sure as hell like to see them try.
I'm sorry about your financial problems. I really am. But they are your problems.
You're right, John. You're absolutely right. Everything's my problem.
I will not get drawn into another financial conversation with you, Dennis. I really will not.
I don't think there's been any debate. There's no debate. My mistakes.
I don't blame people for their mistakes, but I do ask that they pay for them.
Thanks, Dad.
Dennis, the headlights.
I'll debug the tour program when they get back, okay? It'll eat a lot of computer cycles. Parts of the system may go down for a while. Don't blame me. If I am playing, losing memory, my shirt's on inside out.
No one can tell.
I did that once. I went to school with my shirt in.
Henry, that's you.
I'm sorry. Muldoon, who's been hovering near the video monitors as always, turns towards them, annoyed.
Quiet, all of you. They're coming to the Tyrannosaur paddock. He's
Cut
turned
to
into a kiwi, I'm sorry.
It works though. It works really well, Jake.
It's a good one.
Okay, all right.
I've spent
I
some
am
time
now
in
the
New Zealand.
stage directions person. Okay.
Oh, I really like what
Exterior, Tyrannosaur paddock day. The two explorers drive along a high ridge and stop at the edge of the large open plain that is separated from the road by a 15-foot fence, clearly marked with danger signs and ominous-looking electrical post. Okay, whatever. Tim, Lex, and Gennaro are pressed forward against the windows, eyes wide, waiting for you-know-who. In the rear car, the voice of the radio drones on, but Grant, Ellie, and Malcolm aren't even listening anymore, dying of anticipation.
The mighty Tyrannosaurus arose late in the dinosaur history. Dinosaurs ruled the Earth for 150 million years, but it wasn't until the last. Will you turn that thing off?
Ellie flips a switch and they wait in silence, except for Malcolm, who looks at the ceiling, thinking aloud.
God creates dinosaurs. God destroys dinosaurs. God creates man. Man destroys God. Man creates dinosaurs.
Drink, yeah.
Wait, what?
That feels chaos theory.
That feels really chaos theory-esque.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that was one of the rules.
Hi, Malcolm said
That was
something
one of them.
needs to be a drink. Ellie, my favorite line.
Dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherits the earth.
Fuck yeah.
I love that line. That's actually really funny.
Oh, wait.
Lots scream. Oh, that's fun.
Hold on. We'll try to attempt the Rex.
That's Samuel L. Jackson. In the paddock, there is a low humming sound. Out in the middle of the field, a small cage rises up into view, lifted on hydraulics from the underground. The cage bars slide down, leaving the cage's occupant standing alone in the middle of the field. It's a goat, one leg chained to a stake. It looks around, confused, and bleats plaintively. That is not a goat. That sounds like a dying goat. Thank you,
Fucking
Jay.
demon.
Yeah. In the front car, Lex. Okay, in the front car, Lex and Tim look at the goat with widely different reactions. Lex?
I'm going. Hold on, scrolling. What's going to happen to the goat? He's going to eat the goat.
In heaven.
Excellent.
Gennaro to Lex.
What's the matter, kid? You never had lamb chops?
I happen to be a vegetarian.
In the rear car.
T-Rex
Right, sorry.
doesn't want to be fed. He wants to hunt. He can't just suppress 65 million years of gut instinct.
In the paddock, the goat waits and waits. From the explorers, six faces watch expectantly. The goat tugs on its chain. It walks back and forth, nervous. It bleats. In the rear car, Grant watches, his eyes glued, his breathing becoming a little more rapid. In the front car, Tim and Lex can't tear their eyes away. In the paddock, finally the goat lays down. In the rear car, everyone sits back, disappointed again, as the cars pull forward to continue the tour. Malcolm picks up the microphone.
Now, eventually, you do plan on having dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour, right?
Interior control room day. Hammond just shakes his head as Malcolm's voice comes through. I really hate that man. 38, exterior park day. Grant gets into the seat, leaving Malcolm behind Ellie. He longingly looks out of the opposite window, while Malcolm rattles onto Ellie.
You see, the Tyrannosaur doesn't obey set patterns or park schedules. It's the essence of chaos.
Wait.
Oh, well. God damn it.
We're all about to drink so much.
Mhm.
I'm still not
Where are we?
chaos.
Oh, there it is.
It simply deals with unpredictability in complex systems. Its only principle is the butterfly effect. The butterfly can flap its wings in Peking, and in Central Park you get rain instead of sunshine.
Ellie gestures with her hand to show this information has gone right over her head.
I made a flyby. I go too fast.
Looking out of the opposite window, Grant, get it because he was in The Fly. Anyway, looking out of the opposite, he was in the movie The Fly. Anyway,
Ross.
See what that is?
what?
No.
You never seen that movie?
Never seen that movie.
Also, no.
Oh, he was
Ross,
in
just
the
read the
updated
fuck-
version of The
okay.
Fly in
Right.
1980s. Anyway, all right, looking out of the opposite window, Grant sees movement at the far end of a field. He sits bolt upright, trying to get a better look. Malcolm, looking for another example.
Here, give me your glass of water.
Oh, sorry. He dips his hand into the glass of water. He takes Ellie's hand on his own.
Make like hieroglyphics. Now watch the way they drop the water falls on your hand.
He flicks his fingers and a drop falls on the back of Ellie's hand.
Ready? Freeze your hand. Now I'm going to do the same thing from the exact same place. Which way is the drop going to roll off?
This is the same way.
It changed. Why? Because in here is the principle of tiny variations, orientations of the hairs
Hey, Alan, listen to this.
on your hand. The amount of blood descending in your vessels, imperfections in the skin,
Oh, imperfections.
a microscopic, never repeat, and vastly affects the outcome. What's that?
Unpredictability.
And even if we haven't seen it yet, I'm quite sure it's going to be in the park right now.
There's definitely something out in that field, and Grant has to see it. He jerks on the door handle and opens his door a few inches. He looks outside towards freedom, then looks around to is anybody's watching him. Okay. Malcolm lowers his voice, becoming more seductive now.
Life's a lot like that, ain't it? You meet someone by chance you'll never meet again over the course of your whole future. It's dynamic. It's exciting, I think.
Grant throws the door open and bolts out of the moving car.
There, see? I'm right again. No one could have predicted that. Jump out of a movie.
Damn it, Delaney. Sorry, she jumps out too and follows him into the field.
There's another example.
In the front car,
Hey, I want to go with them.
in the rear car,
See, here I am by myself thinking to myself, that's chaos theory. What the hell am I doing here? I'm
finishing my drink.
going on, etc., etc.
Wow, that whole conversation got through the entirety of this.
Yeah, I need another result.
There's
And I will need one too later.
go.
All right, interior control room day. Hammond, Muldoon, and Arnold stare at the video monitor incredulously as everyone now pours out of the cars and follows Grant down the hill. The cars roll on slowly, empty, their doors hanging open.
Mr. Hammond?
Stop the program! Stop the program!
You are. How many times did I tell you we needed locking mechanisms on the vehicle doors?
Across the room, Dennis Nedry sneaks a peek at the video monitor. Excuse me. It shows an image. Excuse me, sorry. It shows an image of the steel door, plainly marked, embryonic cold storage. Restricted. He looks to another monitor, which is labeled East Dock. The monitor shows a supply ship, moored at the dock. Its cargo is being uploaded, and a large group of workers is filing aboard. Nedry has something in the counter, where no one can see it. It's a can of shaving cream. Forward,
Whoa.
exterior park day. Here, let me just, okay. Grant, Ellie, Gennaro, and the kids are out in the open field, heading toward a small stand of trees. For the first time, we notice the sky is darkened rather early in the day. Tim dogs
I hate it when the sky is darkened.
Grant's footsteps, so excited he can hardly keep his feet on the ground.
So like I was saying, there's this other book by a guy named Backer, and he said dinosaurs died of a bunch of diseases. He definitely didn't say they turned into birds. Fucker.
Gennaro is scared as hell, following the others, but his head, as hell again, but his head's darting left and right.
Alan, where are we going? You see something?
Anybody else think we shouldn't be out here?
His book was a lot fatter than yours.
Really?
God.
Yours was fully illustrated, honey.
That's what she said.
Anybody else fully feel to speak up? Why would it be illustrated? Come on.
Okay, Lex stumbles and Grant takes her hand to stop her from falling. She looks up at him and smiles. Grant smiles back and tries to recover his hand, but Lex holds tight. He's massively uncomfortable. Ellie notices. Suddenly, they all stop in their tracks. A huge smile spreads across the faces of both Tim and Grant. Grant walks forward. Tim follows.
Timmy.
Come back here, blanket head.
Fearless, Tim walks forward behind Grant. Who's Harding?
What is Harding?
Oh, that's me, my bad.
Dr.
Okay.
Harding.
Who is
Hi,
Harding?
everyone. Don't be scared. He's the
Oh.
vet man.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Tim reaches the clearing and sees a triceratops, a big one, lying on its side, blocking the light at the end of the path. It has an enormous curved shell that flanks its head, 2 big horns over its eyes, and a third on the end of its nose. It doesn't move, just breathes, loud and raspy, blowing up a little clouds of dust with every exhalation. Grant stands next to Harding, almost in a daze.
Beautiful. Is it okay? Can I touch it?
Grant walks next to the animal and strokes its head. Ellie moves forward to the animal.
Oh, Ellie, it's so beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing I ever saw.
It's my favorite.
They both kneel, checking the animal. He furrows his brow. Yeah, noticing something. All professional curiosity now. The animal's tongue, dark purple, droops limply from its mouth.
Ellie, take a look at this.
Yeah, baby girl. I have a dirty mind.
Okay, anyway.
Oh, it's okay.
She scratches the tongue with her fingernail. A clear liquid leaks from the broken blisters.
Microvesicles. That's interesting.
Grant, fascinated, wanders all the way around to the back of the animal. Harding joins Ellie and hands her his penlight.
What are her symptoms?
Imbalance, disorientation, labored breathing. Seems to happen about every 6 weeks or so.
6 weeks?
She takes the pen light from the veterinarian and shines it in the animal's eyes.
Are there pupillary effects from the tranquilizer?
Yes, metodic. Pupils should be constricted.
These are dilated. Take a look.
They are? I'll be damned.
That's pharmacological from local plant life.
She turns and studies the surrounding landscape. Her mind's really at work, puzzling over each piece of foliage. Pointing.
Is that West Indian lilac?
Yes, we know they're toxic, but the animals don't eat them.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Well, there's only one way to be positive. I need to see the dinosaurs' droppings.
You won't be able to miss them.
Malcolm walks up to Ellie.
Malcolm.
Dino drop. Oh shit! Wait.
Yes, get the sunglasses.
Dino dropping.
Yeah.
She walks away. Malcolm looks on. 41A, interior, control room day. Hammond and Arnold are watching the video monitors, displeased about something. Arnold is looking at one that gives him a view from the beach, looking out at the ocean. The clouds beyond are almost black with a tropical storm.
That storm center hasn't dissipated or changed course. We're gonna have to cut the tour short, I'm afraid. Pick it up again tomorrow where we left off.
You sure we have to?
It's not worth taking the chance, John.
Sustained winds 45 knots.
Tell them when they get back to the cars.
Thanks, Steve.
Making an announcement to the others.
Ladies and gentlemen, last shuttle to the dock leaves in approximately 5 minutes. Drop what you're doing and leave now.
Damn. 41, across the room. Nedry stares at his video monitor, watching the boat. He's on the phone with the mate, whose images he can see on the monitor. The seas around the dock are much rougher now.
We're not well berthed here without a storm barrier. We may have to leave as soon as the last of the works are aboard.
Low
Nope.
voice.
You stick to the plan. You wait till they're back from the tour.
42, exterior, field day. I don't know if this is me or Mercedes. I think this is Mercedes.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
Exterior field day. As the weather grows darker, Ellie, Grant, Harding, and Malcolm are grouped around an enormous spore of Triceratops excreta that stands at least waist high and is covered with buzzing flies. Get it? That's a reference to him being in The Fly.
Yeah. Sure.
Aw.
Hey, Malcolm.
One big pile of shit.
Ellie has
Oh, yeah, I
plastic
love that
gloves.
line.
Ellie has plastic gloves on the reach up to her elbows, and is
Got
just
them on the
withdrawing her
reach.
hand from the middle of the dung.
You're right. There's no trace of lilac berries. That's so weird, though. She shows all the classic signs of toxicity. Every 6 weeks.
She turns and walks out into the open field a few paces, thinking. Malcolm watches her and looks back at the dung.
She's tenacious.
You have no idea.
Will you remember to wash your hands before you eat anything?
Interior control room day. Dennis Nedry is busily and surreptitiously typing a series of commands into his console. On his screen, a cartoon hand winds up a cartoon clock, moving its second hand up to the 12. The clock rotates around to face us. It has a large green dollar sign in the middle. A big word appears on screen, an option surrounded by forbidding red box. Execute, it says. Exterior park day. The skies are really foreboding now, and there's a sense of growing urgency. Ellie is by the animal, a short distance away from the group. Grant is near her, thinking.
Ellie, I've been thinking there's something about the periodicity that doesn't add up.
I know.
Tim holds one of the smooth rocks up and calls out a little timidly, "Where'd my hat go?
I'll be right back. I don't think I have a line.
Where did my hat go?" This is the worst day of my life. Okay, pretend I'm a little boy.
Triceratops
look
was a
kind of
constant
familiar.
browser, and constant browsers would be constantly sick.
Constantly sick.
Not just every 6 weeks.
Yeah, I know.
I've seen pictures of these. Fuck. Grant turns and looks at him, a little annoyed. In your fully illustrated book.
Oh my God.
Grant just rolls his eyes, but Ellie comes over and checks out the stones.
What's that?
A light goes on in her eyes.
Helen, lizard stones.
She throws Grant one of the stones. They look at each other in amazement. As before, when they get excited, they talk right over each other.
Elle, that's it. It explains the periodicity. The
Undigested state of the berries because it's...
totally incidental, unrelated to the feeding pattern.
What are you guys saying? I found my hat again, by the way.
Yay!
Are you sitting on it?
No, it was at my feet.
Oh,
Oh no. Well, simple, Tim. See? Some animals like her don't have teeth.
Like birds.
Birds. What happens is they swallow the stones and hold them in a muscular sac in their stomachs,
A gizzard.
which is called a gizzard, and it helps them mash their food. But what happens after a while,
What happens is that after a while, the stones get smooth every 6 weeks, so the animal regurgitates them
barfs them up,
and swallows fresh ones.
and when she swallows the stones, she swallows the poison berries too, and that's what makes her sick. Good work, Tim.
She looks at Grant she looks at Grant pointedly. Tim looks up at Grant too, smiling from ear to ear. Grant grunts, not
God, I
saying
hate
he was
Tim.
convinced. But thunder rumbles as the storm overhead is about to bust loose. Gennaro, scared of more than one thing now, puts his foot down.
Doctors, if you please, I have to insist we get moving.
Oh, if it's all right, I'd like to stay with Dr. Harding and finish with the trike. Is that okay?
That's you, Nicole.
oh, my bad. I thought Delaney was legit asking. My bad. Okay. Sure. I got a gas-powered Jeep. I can drop her off at the visitor center before I make the boat with the others.
I'll catch up with you. You can go with the others.
You sure?
I'll just finish. Yeah, I want to finish.
There's a lightning flash now, with a tooth-rattling thunderclap right on its heels.
Whoa!
Oh, God.
Grant turns and follows the others. Lex is right in his tracks. Ellie and Harding go back to their Triceratops, which is starting to come back to life. As Grant reaches the Explorer, he turns back for one last look at Ellie. He raises his hand to wave, but she has turned the other way. Feeling silly, he drops his hand and goes into
Silly.
the woods. Just as he does, Ellie turns and waves to him, but with his back turned, he misses it too. In this way, they say goodbye. Back at the cars, as the
Oh.
reflections of the group approach, the first raindrops fall on the windshields of the tour vehicles. They're big, fat drops, and they kick up little clouds of dust as they smack into the glass. It's going to be a hell of a storm.
Another sex scene.
Another done.
Yeah! Hell yeah!
Exterior, park, dusk. It's near dark now. The wind has whipped up, and the trees are swaying.
I have a wind thing.
Interior, control room, dusk. Hammond is with Ray Arnold, staring at the video screens.
I found a way to reroute through the program. I'm turning the cars around into the rest area loop.
Unlock this storm. Get my grandchildren on the radio, will ya? I don't want them to worry about a wee bit of rain.
Arnold reaches for the hand microphone. Across the room, Dennis Nedry, sweat forming on his upper lip now, is staring at his video monitor. The supply boat is still docked on the island shore, but is now being buffeted by heavy waves. Nedry whispers sharply into the phone, arguing with the mate of the ship again, who he can see on the video monitor.
There's nothing I can do. If the captain says we gotta go, we gotta go.
No, listen to me. You've got to give me this time. I did a test run on this thing, and it took me 20 minutes. I thought I could do it in 15. You've got to give me 15 minutes.
No promises. No promises.
I'll be there in 10. Arnold snaps a button on his console.
Visitor vehicles are on their way back to the garage.
So how much for our first tour? No, what is it? What?
I
I
think
think it's
it's
so
supposed to
much.
be so much.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
much for our first tour.
I think we
2
should.
no-shows and 1 sick Triceratops.
It could have been worse, John. It could have been a lot worse.
Dennis Nedry stands up, and then she sits back down again immediately. He's shaking in his shoes, but trying like hell to be casual. Anybody want a Coke? Anything? Anybody want some from the machines? Or a soda or something? I had too many sweets. I thought I'd get something sweet. Hammond and Arnold shake their heads. Nedry starts to leave, then turns back with an afterthought that is so rehearsed it's almost obvious. Oh, I finished debugging the phones, but the system's compiling for 18 minutes or 20. So some minor systems may go on and off for a while. There's nothing to worry about. Simple thing.
Okay, that's enough. Ah!
Nedry turns, stretches one finger out to his screen, and selects an option. Execute. At the same time, he presses the start button on his digital stopwatch he holds in his hand. A digital clock on the computer screen starts to tick down from 60 seconds, and a musical clock starts to sound too. Something like the Jeopardy theme. He starts to leave, but returns when he remembers the shaving cream can. He grabs it and leaves.
Exterior Park Road night. Night was completely fallen now. And the rain has started. It's a tropical storm. The rain falling in drenching sheets on the roofs and hoods of the explorers, which are making their way slowly back to the visitor center. In the rear car, Grant and Malcolm are alone. Grant is staring out the window, lost in his thoughts.
Got any kids?
Oh, hell yeah. 3. I love them. I love kids. Anything all can be done happen.
He takes the flask from
You married?
Same with wives, for that matter. Occasionally. Always on the lookout for the future ex, Mrs. Malcolm.
Chaos theory?
I just finished.
I'm
mine.
empty. I'm done with my drink, so
All
Yeah,
right, well,
I'll go get a refill. It's a scene
Want me
change.
to pause?
Everyone.
I'll pause.
refill.
Word that we've all been looking for.
Interior fertilization lab night. Dennis
I'll bring
Nedry.
you to the fertilization lab.
shut the fuck up, Henry.
All right, let's go. Come on. Shut the fuck up, Henry.
Dennis Nedry waits outside the silver door marked embryonic cold storage, staring at the digital stopwatch in his hand.
2, 1.
On cue, the street lock panel goes dark and the door clinks ajar. In the cooler, Nedry hurries in and flips open the hatch at the bottom of the shaving cream can, revealing slotted compartments inside. He goes to the rack of dozens of thin glass. A sign says, "Viable embryos. Handle with extreme care." He takes the slides out of the rack one by one. They're labeled Stegosaurus, Pathosaurus, Tyrannosaurus Rex, and puts them into the can. Interior control room night. Arnold is sitting at his terminal, puzzled. On the screen, glowing red and blue lines. Hold on. Sorry, folks. On the screen, glowing red and blue lines are blinking off in succession. What? Hammond comes up behind him, as does Robert Malden.
What?
Door security systems are shutting down.
Well, Nedry said a few systems would go offline, didn't he?
51 through, admitted. 52.
Who is sex scene?
That was a really
Dude.
long sex scene.
Yeah, it's a very long. Oh my god. Complex.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That sex scene spanned 2 different settings. That's insane.
53, interior rear car night. Grant and Malcolm still wait in their car. They don't notice, but the video screen in the middle of their front console suddenly goes black. Malcolm continues their conversation.
Shit, I just took the glasses off. By the way, Dr. Sattler, she's not like unavailable, is she?
Why?
Why? Oh, I'm sorry. Are you two I wish you the best of luck.
The cars jerk to a stop. The lights of the vehicles and along the road go out, plunging them into blackness. Grant jerks his hands away from the steering column, immediately assuming it's his fault.
What did I touch?
Didn't touch anything. We're stopped.
I must have touched something. This happens all the time. It must be my fault. Machines hate me.
Machines hate.
Yeah, they hate me.
You all want to talk about this?
No.
And that was when Dr. Grant started the band Rage Against the Machine.
Uh-huh. That's
Go away.
So funny.
Please walk away right now. Exterior Jurassic Park night. Nerdy's Nedry.
Yep, you did it too.
Alcohol.
Nedry's Jeep
I have an alcohol.
to the giant gates that lead into Jurassic Park. Nedry jumps out and hurries to the control panel on the side of the cement supports. He flicks a switch and the gates click unlocked. He jumps back in the car and noses into the gates, shoving them open far enough to drive through. He roars into the park grounds.
Exterior control room night. Ray Arnold stares at his terminal, aghast as row upon row of colored lights crawls on his screen.
Whoa, what the hell?
What now?
Fences are failing all over the park. A few minor systems, he said.
Fine, Nedry. Check the vending machines.
The monitors are failing.
Muldoon heads for the door just as all the video monitors in the control room go out with a faint electronic zip. The three of them freeze for a moment looking at each other. The tension in the room goes up a notch. Hammond to Arnold.
Yeah. Use Nedry's terminal. Get it back on. Get it all back on. That sounded really dumb. He can debug later.
Arnold pushes off on the floor and whizzes over to Nedry's master terminal in his chair. With one stroke of his arm, he brushes all the loose junk off Nedry's station. Junk food, soda cans, torn out magazine pages, and tries to work.
God, look at this workstation.
The Jeopardy-style music is playing a little faster now. Muldoon steps forward, growing annoyed. The rip defenses are out, aren't they?
No, they're still on.
Why the hell would he turn the others off?
Exterior, Park Road, night. A wire mesh fence in front of us is a very clear sign. Danger, electrified fence. This door cannot be opened when fence is armed. A hand reaches out, grabs the fence by the bare wire, flips the latch, and shoves the door open. No sparks fly. Dennis Nedry runs from the fence back to the Jeep, drops it in gear, and tears off down the Park Road. The rain is absolutely flowing down now. The road is rapidly turning to mud. In the Jeep, Nedry can barely see through his windshield. He's driving as fast as possible, checking his watch every few seconds. He leans forward, squinting to see through the windshield, wiping off the condensation with his free hand. A fork in the road brushes into view. He jumps on the brakes, too late. The Jeep careens into a signpost.
Shit!
He throws the door open and hurries to the fallen sign. To the docks. He props it up. The directional arrow swings hopelessly on a nail. He clenches his jaw and growls. Soaked, Nedry stomps back to his car. Although he doesn't look too convinced, he drops the car in gear and speeds off to the left. Exterior, control room, night. Hammond still hovers over Arnold's shoulder while he works at Nedry's terminal. Arnold mutters to himself as he tries another command.
Access main program grid.
Cartoon Nedry.
You need to.
You didn't
still,
say the magic
find-
word.
Oh, sorry. Please, god damn it, I hate this hacker crap.
He smacks the top of the monitor, furious. The game show music plays still faster.
Call Nedry's people in Cambridge.
Arnold whisks across the floor in his chair and snatches up the nearest phone. He punches for an outside line.
Phones are out too.
Where did the vehicle stop?
Ready?
That's
Exterior Tyrannosaur paddock, night. Ah! The goat brought up from the underground earlier is still tethered in the same place, bleeding in the pouring rain. The two explorers sit still in the middle of the road. A man's form races back from the front car to the rear car. In the rear car, Grant, soaking wet, gets back into the car and closes the door behind him. Malcolm turns to him.
Radio's out too. Gennaro said to stay put.
Kids okay?
Well, I didn't ask. Why wouldn't they be?
Kids get scared.
What's to be scared about? Just a little hiccup in the power.
I didn't say I was scared.
I didn't say you were scared.
I know.
Fine.
Malcolm turns
Good conversation.
out of the driving rain and the fence is
Funny.
sitting between them and the Tyrannosaur paddock. He is scared. In the front car, Gennaro, Lex, and Tim wait, bored. The rain drums on the roof monotonously. Tim is upside down in the front seat. Lex pushes his legs up and he swings them down.
And down, up and down.
I still can't believe we invited Ian Malcolm. Sorry, my mouth was full.
People were getting bloody noses, things on your head, aneurysms.
I think Dr. Grant is really smart.
He'll write a bunch of papers, go on Larry King Live, say we're irresponsible.
Tim climbs into the back seat. Lex hits him with her hat as he moves by her.
Don't scare me.
More questionable.
Everybody has to collectively shrug now. Huh?
Tim finds something under the seat and sits up abruptly, holding what looks like a heavy-duty pair of safety goggles.
Wow.
Wow.
Gennaro?
Oh wait, that's actually my line. Where did you find those?
In a box under my seat.
Are they heavy?
Yeah.
I bet they're expensive. Put them back.
He leans back and closes his eyes. Tim ignores him and puts on the goggles. Tim stares out the back window of the Explorer with Grant and Malcolm in it behind them. The image is bright fluorescent green.
Oh, cool. Night vision.
As Tim watches, the door of the rear Explorer opens and a hand reaches out, holding an empty canteen to catch some rainwater. In the rear car, Grant pulls the canteen back in, closes the door, and takes a drink. He and Malcolm wait. In the front car, Tim continues to stare out of the back window with the goggles. He swings his legs, but suddenly stops. He feels something. He pulls off the goggles and turns back. He moves into the back seat with Lex, who is tapping her hat, and reaches forward to still her hand. Boom. Boom. Boom.
Did you feel that?
She donated.
Who wrote this?
You don't answer.
Cocaine!
Okay.
Tim leans over to the front passenger seat and looks at the 2 plastic cups of water. This is water. That sit in the recessed holes in the dashboard. As he watches, the water in the glass vibrates, making concentric circles. Then it stops. Then it vibrates again, rhythmically, like from footsteps. Boom. Boom. Boom.
I can't, yeah.
Fucking love this movie, dude.
It's so good.
What is that? Maybe it's the power trying to come back on.
When are you from Georgia?
He returns to his southern drawl when he's scared.
When he's scared, yeah.
Gotcha. Tim jumps into the back seat and puts the goggles on again.
What is that?
What is that?
What?
Tim turns and looks out the side window. He can see the area where the goat is tethered. Or
Wait, the goat's still here?
It
It was. Now listen.
hold. Or
Read?
was tethered. The chain is still there, but the goat is gone. Bang! They all jump and like screams as something hits the plexiglass sunroof of the Explorer hard. They look up. It's a bloody, disembodied goat leg.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
Tim whips around to look out the side window again. His mouth pops open, but no sound comes out. Through the he sees an animal claw, a huge one, gripping the cables of the electrified fence. Tim whips the goggles off and presses forward against the window. He looks up, then cranes his head back further to look out the sunroof. Past the goat's leg, he can see
Sorry, go ahead.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's
Wow.
25 feet high.
Here it is.
40 feet long from nose to tail, with an enormous box-like head that must be 5 feet long by itself. Oh my gosh, that's me.
That's so large.
The remains of the goat hang out of the
That's
Rex's
me.
mouth. It tilts its head back and
Bad.
swallows the animal in one big gulp.
The puppet.
Gennaro can't even speak. His hand claws for the door handle. He shoulders it open and takes off out of the car.
Oh, that's me. He left us. He left us alone. Dr. Grant. Dr. Grant, he left us. He left us.
On the road, Gennaro runs away as fast as he can, right past the second car, towards a cement block outhouse 20 or 30 yards away. He reaches it, ducks inside, and pulls the door after him. But there's no latch, just a round hole in the unfinished door. Gennaro backs into a stall, frantic. The whole bathroom begins to shake. The rear car,
That's amazing.
Grant and Malcolm turn in the direction Gennaro went.
Where does he think he's going?
Well, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Oh my god. Malcolm looks the other way, out the passenger window. As he watches, the fence begins to buckle, its posts collapsing into themselves, the wires snapping free.
Well, what's all that about?
Grant now turns and watches as ahead of them, the danger sign smacks down on the hood of the first Explorer. The entire fence is coming down, posts collapsing, cables snapping as the T-Rex chews its way through the barrier. They watch in horror as the T-Rex steps over the ruined barrier into the middle of the road. It just stands there for a moment, swinging its head from one vehicle to another. In the front car, the Rex strides around to the side of the car and peers down from high above. Tim leaps into the front seat and pulls the driver's door shut. Both kids are terrified, breathing hard, unable to speak.
Please. Please.
In the rear car,
Boy, I do hate being right all the time.
Look at that.
the T-Rex turns and strides quickly back towards them. It's walking in circles, slowly bending over to look in at them through the window. Grant and Malcolm sit trembling in the front seat, watching as the giant legs stride past their window.
Keep absolutely still. Its vision's based on movement.
You're sure?
Relatively.
Malcolm freezes as the Rex bends down and peers right in through his window. The dinosaur's giant yellowing eye is only slightly smaller than the entire pane of glass.
Don't upstage me, Ross.
Hey, look, Delaney gave me this. I'm gonna use it.
Pretty good.
The T-Rex pulls away slightly, then reaches down and bumps the car with its snout, rocking it. In the front car, Rex is rummaging around in the back cargo area looking for something, anything. She finds a flashlight. On the road, the front car lights up from within. Switches on the flashlight. The dinosaur raises its head. It turns slowly from the second car to the first car, drawn by the light. Making a decision, it strides over to the first car, fast. This is my dinosaur noise.
It's great.
It's still not low enough. Anyways, in the front car, Tim and Lex can only stare out of the windows as the T-Rex reaches their car and starts to circle it. The Rex bends down and looks in through the front windshield, then the side window. Tim is eye to eye with the thing for a second. Then the dinosaur raises its head up above the car.
I'm sorry.
Turn it off, Lex, turn it off.
Tim climbs over the seat and joins Lex.
Where is the button then?
I don't know.
Why did you do this?
Sorry.
The kids look up through the sunroof as the head goes higher and higher and higher, and then the Rex turns, looks straight down at them through the sunroof, opens its mouth wide, and roars.
Image for reference.
Oh my God.
Just like the real thing.
The windows rattle, Lex screams, and the flashlight goes on again. And the Tyrannosaurus strikes. Smash! The thing's head hits the plastic sunroof, knocking the whole frame right out of the roof of the car, down in the vehicle. The bubble funnels down onto Tim and Lex, trapping them, and the animal lunges down through the hole, snapping at them. The plexiglass holds, though, and protects Tim and Lex, even as it pins them to the seats. The T-Rex continues to push down, and the glass groans, crack lines racing across it. Tim, whose feet were caught above him, pushes back, only an inch of glass between him and the dinosaur's teeth. In the rear car, Grant and Malcolm watch in horror as the dinosaur claws at the side of the vehicle with one of its powerful thigh legs. It pushes.
Yeah, look at those
Sorry.
thighs. I do love me a good thigh.
My God.
Probably meant hind legs. I have no idea what they actually said.
Here's my screen button. Where was
Wait,
I?
what other kind
It
of
pushes, starting to tip the car over.
Shut up.
Oh my God. Oh my
Jake.
God.
We gotta do something.
What? What can we do?
There's gotta be something.
Grant looks around, climbs over the seat. He tears apart the back area, searching, and finally finds a metal case. He opens it, finding flares. He grabs one and moves quickly back to the driver's seat and opens the door. Malcolm grabs a flare, too. In the front car, the glass windows shatter, and the kids are thrown to the side. And they explode.
Whoa!
The Rex bends down and nudges the car with its head, rolling it up on its side. Tim and Lex tumble around. On the road, the T-Rex starts to dodge the Explorer with its head, rolling it up on its side. Tim and Lex tumble around.
I fucking hate that. Okay, go.
Scream Queen soundboard.
That makes so I believe it.
Road. The T-Rex starts to nudge the explorer toward the barrier. Over the barrier, there is a gentle terraced area at one side where the Rex emerged from, but the car isn't next to that. It's next to a sharp precipice representing a 50 or 60-foot drop. The car, upside down now, is pushed near the edge. The Rex towers
Did we ever drink for the goat, by the way?
to what?
I did.
I
For the
did.
goat? Okay.
Aw.
I didn't. Sorry, go ahead.
Like a dog.
Shut up.
My God.
One foot on the chassis and tears the undercarriage with its jaws. Biting anything it can get a hold of, it rips the rear axle free, tosses it aside, and bites into the tire. The tire explodes, startling the animal. Inside the car, Tim and Lex are trapped inside the rapidly flattening car. As the frame continues to buckle, they crawl toward the open rear window, the car collapsing behind them. The mud and rain pout into what little mud and rain. Oh. Tim is ahead, nearing the back window, when there is a crunch. That's not a crunch. And the seat comes down, pinning him on the road. The dinosaur backs up, dragging the explorer, swinging it left and right. It seems ready to fling it over the edge. Grant gets out of his car. He's holding a flare in one hand, which he pulls the top off of. Bright flames shoot out the end of it.
Hey,
Grant.
hey, over here.
Rex turns and looks at him. Grant waves the flare swiftly in front of him from side to side. The T-Rex follows his moving arm, eyes locked on the flare. Grant looks over the wall and tosses the flare over the edge of the barrier. The T-Rex lunges after it. Unclear with Grant's plan, Malcolm leaps out of the car and tries to scare the T-Rex. He saw a newly lit flame. He begins to wave it at the animal. Grant says, Ian. Oh wait, that's your line. Jake, is your line, my bee.
Jake.
What?
It's you, man.
What? No.
Are you Grant?
Oh,
You're
Tim,
Grant.
Lex.
Nope.
My connection's
Nope.
going bonkers. I'm sorry.
It's Ian Freeze.
Oh, Ian, freeze! Get rid of the flare.
Get the kids.
Get the kids.
And it gets back
I
slowly.
don't like that line at all.
Get him.
All right.
Hey, get those
Delaney.
kids.
Ian inches back slowly and takes off.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Sliding down the road. He runs to the cement block outhouse Gennaro went into earlier. The T-Rex sees the movement. It whirls and takes off after Malcolm fast. Malcolm runs as fast as he can, approaching the outside, just steps ahead of the T-Rex, but not far enough ahead. Without even slowing down, the Rex leans forward and flicks Malcolm into the air with its snout. It's just a nudge A4, the Rex, but it sends Malcolm sailing right through the wooden portion of the wall and into the building.
Wait, does Malcolm die? Because I really like this character.
No, Gennaro does though.
Okay, great. I don't like that character.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, in the book, I think Malcolm does die, but I can't
No,
remember.
Hammond dies. in the
Wait,
book,
I
not
haven't read the
Malcolm.
book yet. No spoilers.
Guys, I really thought that Malcolm died this whole time.
I don't
He's the
think he
main
does, no.
character of the second movie.
He is,
I
yeah.
haven't seen the second movie, Bucko.
The gold blue.
Well, he's the main character of the second movie.
Well,
Anyway,
you go.
the last chunk.
You should just call him Bucko.
Bucko, fucko.
Bucko.
What's happening?
Continue.
In the restroom, Gennaro, who cowers in a corner,
Wait, hang on. I have something for this.
screams,
Oh God!
screams as
Ted.
Oh God! To head! Oh God! To head!
explodes through the front of the building,
Wow, that head really exploded.
sending chunks of cement flying in all directions inside. The roof collapses. Gennaro tries to protect himself from the flailing
Oh
junk.
my goodness! The roof exploded.
Road.
Just kill this guy already.
You're
Yeah,
watching
please.
the T-Rex noses around in the rubble. It seems to find something. Hold on. It lunges, and Grant can hear Gennaro screaming the sound.
Oh, the humanity! Oh, the humanity! Oh God! Oh,
Abruptly
oh,
stops.
Jane.
Grant scrambles over to the car.
Tim, Lex.
Dr. Grant! Dr.
I
Grant!
would like to thank the Academy.
You
Shut
died.
the
Take a
fuck up.
drink.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. We need more meds.
He lays on the ground, looking
Oh, it's
inside,
strong.
and sees Lex staring up at him, conscious, her face covered in mud.
Are you okay? Can you move? Tim, are you okay?
Version 1.
No, there's different versions.
Let's do version
Let's do
1.
version
Yeah.
two.
1.
Everyone
Wait, take
vote
a
right
vote.
now.
Let's do both.
I vote for version
I
1
don't,
so
I
that
don't like
Lex doesn't have to
saying
say
daddy, daddy. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I'm saying version 1.
Version 1.
Version 1.
1.
Fine.
Alright.
Be like that.
Fine.
Tim, are
Eh.
you okay?
I'm stuck. The seat's got my feet.
Tim, I'll come back for you. I'll get Lex out first.
Oh, you're a bitch.
Fuck you, kid.
Grant and drags her out.
Are you okay? Good girl.
Grant tries to find Tim.
Tim? Tim?
Lex, staring over his shoulder, screams. Not gonna do it because my parents are asleep. Grant whirls, covering her mouth at the same time.
Shh. Don't move. It can't see us if we don't move.
Lex looks at him like he's crazy, but freezes. They wait. Boom! Big T-Rex footprint smacks down in front of them as the dinosaurs approaches the car again. It leans down right past them and sniffs the car. Rag bits of flesh and clothing hanging from them. Hanging from its teeth.
Oh, God.
Hey, that's me.
Yes, it is you.
That is me.
Not finding anything,
Wow.
the dinosaur swings its head away, snorting loudly through its nose. Brant's hat flies off his head. Still, he doesn't move. The Rex walks to the back of the car. It bends down. Whap! The car spins as it's pushed from behind the Rex. Grant and Lex are pushed in front of it, helpless. They scramble around onto their knees, trying to keep ahead of the car, which the Rex is now pushing even closer to the edge of the barrier. Grant and Lex crawl quickly, but the car is moving faster, catching upon them. Inside the car, Tim awakens, and screams. He tries to untangle himself. On the road, the T-Rex looms over Lex and Grant, who are trapped between the car and the 60-foot drop. Inside the car. Is it still me? Yes, it is. The Rex bends down and sees Tim. Tim backs away furiously, but there's almost no room to move in there. The Rex opens its mouth wide and stretches its tongue into the car. I don't have a tongue.
Uh-huh.
It screams and kicks as the tongue tries to wrap around him, but it fails and withdraws from the car. On the road, the T-Rex still tries to get to Grant and Lex, pushing the car, spinning its roof. Grant and Lex scramble, trying to avoid being caught by the T-Rex and crushed by the car.
This way.
The back of the car almost crushes them against the barrier.
Get back.
They move as the Rex continues to move the car towards the edge. Grant finally gets on the wall. Lex follows. The T-Rex roars in frustration. Hold on. Wait. It's buffering.
I hate it when my T-Rex buffers.
It did do that during the filming.
It bends down for one final
didn't
lunge
hear
at the
that.
car.
Okay.
Grant sees it coming. He grabs one of the dangling fence cables on the other side of the barrier.
Grab a hold of me.
She wraps her arm around his neck. He scrambles to the edge of the barrier and starts to climb down. Timmy! Timmy! The cable's slick with rain, and it's all Grant can do to hang on as he and Lex slide rapidly down. Above them, the vehicle is now teetering over the edge, threatening to drop right on top of them if they don't hurry. Grant gasps as Lex has unwittingly starting to choke him as she holds on for dear life.
You're choking me.
The car is nearly over the edge now. Grant looks to the side. There are other cables out of the line of the car's impending drop. His feet scrambling along the concrete wall, Grant tries to swing over to them.
Grab a wire.
But he falls short. His momentum carries them back to the other way, but on the second swing, Lex manages to grab hold of the second cable. I got it! The car falls. Lex and Grant are cleared by inches, clinging to the second cable. Timmy! The car crunches into the leafy top of a tree, resting on its roof some 15 feet below them. The T-Rex stares down at them, but they are safely out of its reach. It roars once more. Its final bit of frustration turns.
The T-Rex could have been Arnold Schwarzenegger.
A80 interior control room night. John Hammond is lived.
What?
I need to drink with you.
Dude, don't
I
you
would-
hate it when you're lived?
Drink
I
everything is a typo.
Oh God, that's gonna be.
die.
We're gonna die.
No.
We're gonna die. Don't.
The last script we had was so filled with typos. This
Oh,
script has so
we
many
didn't drink
typos.
for the guy. We didn't drink for Henry's character.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
Wait, why? Did I get bit?
You died.
You got et, my friend.
Gennaro.
Oh,
Gennaro,
that
you
other
died.
character. Yeah.
The lawyer, the blood-sucking lawyer. Yeah, yeah.
I forgot titular character.
All right.
Being eaten by.
So we've got John Hammond. John Hammond is lived.
Who's
I will-
taking directions?
All right.
Me.
I will kill Nedry. I will kill him.
Muldoon bursts through the door.
Well,
There's no sign of him anyway. The game show music is louder and faster now. Very annoying.
Ray, will you please switch off that music?
Ray Arnold's cigarette is practically burning his lips down to almost nothing in his mouth. He hovers over Nedry's computer terminal, which is a mass of incomprehensible commands that scroll by quickly as they futilely examine each one of them. Muldoon paces. Ellie stares at Arnold in amazement.
Are we getting anywhere with these procedures of yours? I mean, what's hanging us up?
I ran a key check on every stroke Nedry entered today. It's all pretty standard stuff until this one.
What?
He points to his computer screen,
What?
to a specific series of commands. The others crowd over his shoulder and stare at the screen.
Key check space O, key check safety. Key check off safety O. He's turning the safety systems off. He doesn't want anybody to see what he's about to do. Now look at this next entry. It's the kicker. WHT.RBT.OBJ. Whatever it did it all. But with key check off, the computer didn't file the keystrokes. Only way to find them now is to search the computer's lines of code one by one.
How many lines of code are there?
About 2 million.
2 million. Great. That would help.
Robert, I wonder if perhaps you could be kind. You would be kind enough to take a gas jeep and bring back my grandchildren.
Sure.
I'm going with him.
They head for the door. Hammond turns, staring out the windows at the front of the control room. He's gone pale and he's sweating, wrapped up in a million thoughts. Behind him, Ray Arnold's voice calls to him, but he doesn't hear it.
For a second,
John,
I thought that was a musician.
Hammond leads on his cane, and for the first time, he looks like he's actually using it.
John,
Hammond turns, finally hearing him.
I can't get Jurassic Park back on the line without Dennis Nedry.
Hey, this is the name of the movie.
Exterior, Park Road, night. As the rain continues to pour down, a gas-powered Jeep roars down another Park Road. Interior, Jeep, night. Dennis Nedry drives the Jeep as fast as he can. In the treacherous conditions, he mutters to himself, shaking his head.
Should have been there by now. Should have been there.
He hauls around the corner and looks down, checking his watch. When he looks back up, his eyes go wide. There's a white wood guardrail fence right in front of him. He stands on the brakes as hard as he can. The Jeep fishtails, skidding out of control in the mud towards the fence. Nedry hauls the wheel to the side to try to control the skid, but the Jeep skids off the road, going halfway over the mighty embankment.
God damn it.
He drops the car in reverse and hits the gas. The wheel spins, sets mud flying everywhere, but the Jeep goes nowhere, just digs in further. Nedry can't believe it. Frustrated, he gets out of the Jeep. He stops suddenly. He can see another Park Road down the sloping embankment about 20 feet below. There's a large sign alongside the road. Nedry leans forward excitedly to get a better look. It reads, "To East Dock." He scrambles to the front of the Jeep. On the hillside, Nedry cranks a winch, winch its coil on the front end of the Jeep.
No problem. Winch this sucker off the thing. Tie it, do a thing, pull it down the thing, and pull it back up.
He loses his balance and slips, falling back on his rear. He slides down the muddy embankment across the road below. Pissed, he gets to his knees and searches for his glasses.
Where are my glasses? I can't afford new ones.
He stands and grabs the winch and goes to a sturdy-looking tree on the other side.
You can make it.
In the distance, there's a soft hooting sound. There's a movement in the bushes. Nedry looks around for the source of the sound of movement. He doesn't find it. He nervously checks his watch and goes back to the winch, but faster.
No problem. Pop this thing right down.
The comes again, and Nedry turns. Again, nothing. A figure ducks around the tree and pops out the other side. Playfully. Nedry looks around one side of the tree. Nothing. It pops up on the other side, hooting again. And Nedry looks again. Nothing. It seems like a friendly game of hide and seek, but Nedry begins to get rattled.
That's nice. Gotta go. I'm getting out of here. Come on, you can make it.
He secures the winch and starts across the road, back up the embankment. He slowly freezes as he feels something behind him. He turns around slowly and sees a Dilophosaurus. It stands only about 4 feet high. It's spotted like an owl and has a very brilliant colored crest that flanks its head. It doesn't look very dangerous. In fact, it's kind of cute.
That puppet is amazing.
Oh, nice boy. Nice boy. Okay, run along. I don't have anything for you. Go on, go home. Dinner time. Are you hungry? They'll feed you. Go, boy, girl, whatever.
The Dilophosaurus just stares at Nedry, tilting its head curiously. Nedry looks up around the ground and finds a stick. He picks it up and chucks it at the thing, throws it as far as he can.
Nice juicy stick. Fetch.
The Dilophosaur gets into the spirit of the game, but not the object.
Lame brain. What's the matter with you?
He shakes himself and starts back towards the jeep, muttering to himself.
Bald brain. Extinct kangaroo. Hope I run over you on the way down.
He's near the top when the Dilophosaur suddenly hops out right in front of him, startling him. Nedry loses his balance and falls back right on his rear. He gets to his feet, angry.
I said,
He picks up a stick and chucks it at the thing.
beat it. What are you doing?
The animal hisses. Shh.
Hold on.
The brightly colored fan around its neck flares wildly. Two bulbous sacs on either side of its neck inflate. It rears its head back again and spits. Splat! A big gob of something wet smacks into the middle of Nedry's chest. He reaches out and touches the goo that's dribbling down his slicker.
That's disgusting.
Splat! Another gob of goo smacks into the highlight right next to Nedry's head. He stands up, a look of confusion crosses his face. He lifts his right hand, the one he touched the spit with, looks at it strangely, flexing it. Pow! This time the loogie hits Nedry right smack in the face. He screams and rubs it away frantically because it hurts like hell. Nedry falls back, clawing at his eyes in excruciating pain. He pulls his hands away, starting to hyperventilate. He flails his arms in front of him, blinking a mile a minute, blinded. He staggers forward, tries to get into the jeep. He gets the door open, but smacks his head on the door frame and collapses. The can of shaving cream flies out of Nedry's jacket pocket and tumbles into runoff water down the muddy hillside. Nedry gets to his feet again and staggers in the general direction of the jeep. He reaches the open door and feels his way in. He slams the door. There's another hoot from inside the jeep. Nedry turns and screams. The Dilophosaur is right there in the passenger seat. It hisses louder than before, its crest fans angrily vibrating, reaching a crescendo, and the thing pounces, slamming Nedry back against the driver's window, shattering it. As Nedry shrieks, rain and mud wash over the shaving cream can. 82. Omitted.
I have two comments. First off, I think that we should make another drinking game rule that whenever like hell or something
Oh, true.
Yes, I was
Yep.
thinking the same thing.
we have to drink. And second off, this dinosaur clearly has a flair for the dramatic because how long has it been sitting in the passenger seat door just to have this moment?
Yes. Also, you're reading the stage directions now, Henry.
Fun fact: in
How
the book, the death is so much more violent.
Oh, yeah?
Nedry's death is so just more gruesome
I
and.
will read it.
Man, I gotta read the fucking book now.
Oh yeah, it's like a horror movie apparently. Like I've heard it.
Also-
Anyway,
Borrow it. No.
Scene 82.
that's a really good puppet. By the way.
Dinosaur
I like
Thank
that puppet.
you. He has the thingy.
Yeah, you did a
So
good job
good,
with
Nicole.
those.
It's so
I actually
good.
really like those.
Incredible,
All right.
phenomenal, flawless job.
Now let's go.
Thank you.
Scene 83. Exterior, park ground. It's night. The rain has all stopped now. Grant and Lex are at the bottom of the large barrier leading to the park road. Like it or not, they're in the park now, and are surrounded by the thick, and they're surrounded by thick foliage on all sides.
How do you make that typo? The N key is so far from the C key.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Oh wait, we're
They're
drinking.
both beaten up, and Grant's face covered in blood. He's bent over a big puddle, splashing water on his face, rinsing the blood off and trying to bring himself to. Poor Lex is scared as hell. She stands behind Grant, ramrod straight, her breath coming short. Desperate, gasps. Her eyes are wide. She doesn't look like she can move. As Grant gets rid of all the blood, his injury doesn't look so bad. Just a gash on his forehead. He turns and looks up to the tree the explorer fell in. It's stuck there, nose down in the thicket. He's terrified.
Hey, come on, don't, just stop.
He touches her, but it's awfully awkward. I hate that. More of a pat on the head than anything strong or reassuring. But she responds to the contact, hurling herself forward and throwing his arms tightly around his waist. She clamps there, holding on for dear life. Sobbing.
Lex, you gotta be quiet, please. Stop it. Shh.
This seems to quiet her.
Because if we make too much noise, he's going to hear us and come back.
Lex bursts out crying again. A wailing scream, nearly hysterical now. Grant holds her, no idea what to do. He turns and looks around. A whispered shout.
Timmy? Timmy!
He hears a cracking sound. He looks up to the tree again. The explorer has fallen a few feet lower in the branches. Grant looks at Lex, who is sitting on a rock.
Dad? Why is she saying dad? Okay.
I think she misses her dad probably.
Trauma.
Yeah.
Trauma.
Grant.
I'm right here, Lex. I'm gonna look after you. I'm going to help your brother. I want you to stay here and wait for me, okay?
You left us. You left us.
That's not what I'm going to do. Good.
Grant walks toward the tree. Lex scampers into the culvert. 84, exterior tree, night. Thanks. Grant takes a deep breath. He grabs hold of the first branch and starts his long climb. Fortunately, it's a good climbing tree. Its branches are thick and regularly spaced. Grant moves at a good pace. He reaches the car's level. On the driver's side, 5 to 6 feet to one side of it. The car's in rough shape. It's much thinner than it used to be. Its nose completely smashed in. The front wheels driven solidly into the thick branch. They are what hold it in place.
Hold it. Sorry. Tim?
Grant comes up to the car and looks in. Tim is huddled on the floor of the passenger side, frightened, hugging his knees to his chest. He looks up at Grant, a tear and blood-streaked face. His voice is barely audible.
I threw up.
It's okay. Listen, give me your hand.
Tim doesn't move.
I won't tell anybody you threw up. Just give me your hand, okay?
He reaches out. Tim reaches too, but they're still about a foot apart. Grant grabs hold of the steering wheel to pull himself further. The wheel turns. On the branch, the front wheel turns, losing a bit of their grip on the thick branch that they're resting on. Tim and Grant grab hands. Grant grabs hold to him, getting an arm securely around his waist. They climb down. They stop on a branch.
Okay, that's not so bad. Not Tim?
Yes, it is.
Just like coming out of a treehouse. Did your dad ever build you a treehouse, Tim? Huh?
No.
Me too.
He starts to move down.
Okay. Well, the main thing about climbing is never look down. Never.
This is impossible. How am I going? I can't make it. It's about 50 feet.
So am I going to help you with your foot?
What if the car falls?
So I would like to point out that this is an entirely new word. The car grounds.
Oh, drinking time.
The car grounds forward on the branch, which sags in the direction. They look up. The car begins to shift dramatically towards them.
Oh no. Go, Tim. Go.
They climb down as fast as they can as the big branch that is supporting the car creaks, ready to give them any second.
Faster.
The branch breaks, disintegrates really, and the car falls straight at them. Grant and Tim let go of the branch they're on and fall, thudding into another branch a few feet down. The car smacks into the bug branch that they just vacated and stops there. What's a bug branch? Grant and Tim are half climbing, half falling down the tree now, slipping on the resin-covered branches, just trying like hell to get out of the way. Kripow! The second branch breaks. Now the car smashes and crashes through the network of thinner branches, heading right for them. It hits open space and goes into a free fall. Grant turns and puts his arms up in defense. And the car stops, slamming into a thick branch just above him. Grant looks above, eyeball to eyeball with the front grille. I hate it when my car has eyeballs on its grille. The branch starts to creak. Grant and Tim basically fall down at the rest of the tree. The car's bashing its way through the right behind them. They jump the last 6 or 7 feet and hit the ground hard. Grant grabs Tim and rolls with him to the side, just as the car smashes into the earth, nose first, standing upright that way. They look up in relief. But the damn thing's still heading for them, now tipping over, falling straight at them. And now there's no way they have time to get out of the way this time, so Grant just balls himself up on top of Tim, trying to protect him, and crash. The Jeep falls down on top of them. Grant, amazingly unhurt, looks up confused. They're inside the Jeep again, saved by the whole sunroof. Cut to exterior, culvert, night. Yeah, it's still my turn. Lex is still on the culvert, terrified, slowly banging her head against the wall. Grant is at the mouth of the culvert, carefully studying the rinky-dink map of the park he picked up during the slideshow.
Okay.
He's trying to get his bearings from the crude cartoon-like drawing of the map, but it's tough. He looks up, picking a direction, and shoves the map in his pocket decisively. He looks back at Lex.
Lex, you're gonna have to get out of there.
He walks towards him.
Hiding isn't a rational solution. We have to improve our situation.
She doesn't move. Grant looks at Tim.
Tim's out here.
Grant picks up Tim.
He's okay?
Still nothing. Grant tries to get a new tact, walking away.
Of course, you could just wait in there while we go back and get help.
Following Grant.
That's a good idea.
You'll probably be safe enough on your own.
I doubt it.
Maybe. It's hard to say.
Liar! You said you wouldn't leave.
I'm trying to use psychology to get you out of the drain, you know.
She just stares at him like he's nuts. Tim shakes his head at Grant as if to say, nice try. Grant calms his tone. All right, place your votes for version 1 or version 2.
Wait.
2. Vote blindly, cowards.
I have 1 for vote 2. I have 2 for vote 2. 3, 4,
It's unanimous.
5
Consensus.
for
Version 2.
Ending.
All right.
Version 2.
It's unanimous.
All right, we're just gonna walk back home together.
He walks over to Lex, the culprit, and sits across from her.
We can't walk back on the road. There are fences on either side. If we meet the Rex between here and the lodge, we'd have problems.
Lex cover hears. Grant tries to calm her.
He's probably staked out on the road as a feeding ground, which means this whole paddock is empty. It's safe. It's safe, and that's the way we're going to go. What do you say?
He's spoken calmly and confidentially, so Lex crawls out of the culvert and stands next to him.
Good girl.
He kisses her hand and helps her crawl out of the culvert. Tim and Lex nod, and he starts off in the direction he indicated. They trail behind him.
Might be kind of slow, but it can't be more than 3 or 4 miles. I hope the Rex finished feeding by now, but let's not kid ourselves. Did you know a carnivore can eat up to 25% of its body weight in about 1 sitting? So he's probably just ready to move on to the main course by now.
He stops in the middle of the sentence. Noticing he's alone, he turns around. Both kids are now scampered all the way back to the culvert. Terrifying. I think it's not my turn anymore.
Oh yeah, it's me. Muldoon and Ellie, exterior, Park Road night. Muldoon and Ellie race down the Park Road in an open-top Jeep like the one Nedry took earlier. Neither of them speak. They just stare ahead grimly, wondering what they're about to find.
There they are!
They round a corner and come to the top of the hill, where the attack took place. The Jeep skids to a stop and they jump out. The road is rutted, muddy mess. The cement block house is a pile of rubble. One of the explorers is gone. The other stands untouched, both doors hanging open.
Oh God, where's the other car?
She runs to the explorer. Muldoon follows, looking around. At the explorer, Ellie leans in and looks around. Nobody's there. She and Muldoon walk towards the wreckage of the outhouse, calling out.
I think it's ahead of us.
Could be anywhere. With the fences out, it can go in and out of any paddock it likes.
They hear a moaning sound from somewhere. That's the dinosaur sex. They hear a moaning sound from somewhere in the wreckage of the restroom building. They rush over to it. Ian Malcolm lies on his back, semi-conscious along the twisted wood and cement. Muldoon.
Malcolm!
He shines his light along the length of Malcolm's body. His shirt is soaked with blood, but his right leg is even worse off. The right ankle, it bent outward at a strange angle from his leg. The trousers flattened, soaked with blood. Malcolm's belt has been twisted around his thigh.
He's put a tourniquet on. Ian!
Malcolm groans as she touches him, groggy.
Ugh. Remind me to talk to John for a lovely weekend.
The T-Rex roars again, but closer
Great.
now.
Yeah, it's supposed to
Ellie
be
and
thank.
Muldoon
By the way,
look at
that's
each other.
not a real sentence.
Yeah.
I think it's thank.
I think it's meant to be thank, yeah.
Again, typo.
The T-Rex roars again, but closer now. Ellie and Muldoon look at each other.
Sweet chance moving him?
Please chance it.
Muldoon lays Malcolm as carefully as possible in the back of the Jeep.
Where are the kids?
Ellie looks around.
Lex? Sam?
She turns and looks
I
back
love
at the
that.
empty road
I'm glad
He's
you
on the verge of
brought the
tears.
lights.
and is fighting them back.
Settler. I've seen a lot of animal attacks. People just disappear. No blood, no trace. It's the way it happens.
No!
She walks to the edge of the road, her eyes following the deep ruts the explorer made when it went over the edge. Muldoon gets ready to leave.
Ellie, come on!
The other car!
External clearing night. Ellie's and Muldoon's flashlight beams spray light by the base of the tree.
Dr. Grant!
They find the wrecked explorer. Muldoon peers inside, looking for anything.
Do you see anything?
Now,
The T-Rex roars again, closer still.
Oh, wait. Technical difficulties, hold on.
Ellie nervously goes to the other side of the car and looks in.
Alan?
they're not here.
Ellie desperately searches the ground for any signs of Grant. She finds their footprints.
Thank God!
Exterior, Park Road, night. Malcolm, laid out in the back of the Jeep, feels something strange. He looks down at the one of the T-Rex footprints in the road. It's filled with water. The water in the puddle vibrates rhythmically. Malcolm's eyes widen. He looks around, frantically.
Anybody hear that?
Exterior, clearing, night. Ellie is still looking around, to Muldoon's chagrin. Her flashlight falls on 3 sets of footprints in the mud.
Look!
With her flashlight, she follows the trail the
Damn
footprints
it.
made. They lead into the jungle and disappear. Exterior, Park Road, night. Malcolm stares wide-eyed at the rings in the water, which are getting bigger now.
It's an impact tremor is what it is. It's
Boom! Boom!
I'm fairly alarmed here.
Ellie and Malcolm come up over the embankment, excited.
Gotta move, gotta get out of here. Let's go. We gotta go. We gotta get out of here right now. Let's go. Let's hurry. Let's get out of here.
They stop talking. The booming is louder now and faster, much faster. They look back over their shoulders.
Oh.
Ellie and Muldoon get into the Jeep, Muldoon in the driver's seat.
Wait, what about me? Oh,
You're in there already!
Right now.
Goldblum is in the back, like this,
Yeah. The Tyrannosaur smashes out of the jungle foliage, bursts onto the road, and runs straight at them, moving at least 30 miles an hour.
Go, 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 go.
Muldoon fumbles for the keys, turns the Jeep over, and slams it into gear. He drops the clutch, hits the gas, and tears ass out of there.
There's ass!
Wait, that's a trick. I think that's
And
a trick.
It is
rips
a
ass
thing,
out
it
of
is a
there.
thing.
Oh, yikes.
Terrified, Ellie dares to look down to the side view mirror, which tells her objects are closer than they appear.
Oh, that's a
And they
great shot.
sure are! The T-Rex is still gaining on the slowly accelerating Jeep. All 3 of them stare back at the Rex in terror.
Faster!
Must go faster. It's getting closer. Must go faster.
Shit! Faster!
Must go faster. Go, open it up. Fifth gear. Here it comes. Stand on it. Fifth gear. Go.
Which means they don't see the half-fallen tree branch right in front of them, blocking the path of the road. Muldoon looks back first, shouts.
Down!
They all duck. The windshield hits the branch and shatters as the Jeep flies ahead, really picking up speed now. The T-Rex just runs right through the branch, smashing it entirely. They're bounced around pretty badly. Malcolm is knocked into the front, and in doing so knocks the gear shift into neutral. Fuck. The engine races, and the T-Rex closes in again. Losing ground now, the dinosaur makes a final lunge for the Jeep and crunches into the left rear quarter panel. Faster! But Muldoon slams it back into gear and guns it. The T-Rex gives up, fading into the distance. They drive in silence for a few moments, all scared out of their wits.
Eurobeat thumping in the distance.
Eurobeat.
Think we'll have that on the tour.
And asshole.
All right, back to Henry for the stage directions.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
wait. Are you sure? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hang on. Wow. Okay.
And you won, Bucko. I gotta be
Henry,
You
let me
fuck.
pull out the glasses. Okay. Exterior park ground night. Grant, Lex, and Tim make their way through Jurassic Park. They said the name of the movie.
Wow.
Far in the distance, there's another roar. Grant hears it, but tries not to show it. Thanks, Nicole.
Woo!
Hear that?
No, I didn't hear anything.
They keep walking, but now Grant is looking out for a safe place to hide. He looks up to the towering trees above them.
You both look pretty tired. I think we ought to find someplace to rest.
Here's another roar.
Like, about now. Come on, hurry up, like this tree.
Why are we hurrying if there's nothing wrong?
What if we fall? I hate trees.
Exterior tree night. Lex, Tim, and Grant climb. Grant is behind, watching the other two, giving him a push-up when they need it.
I fucking hate trees.
I fucking hate you.
They don't bother me.
Yeah, you weren't in that last one.
The narrator reminds the small children that they should probably watch their language. Now, near the top of the tree, the 3 of them sit there, dangling their legs, looking over the park. It's an incredible view. They can see in every single direction. And with a full moon, there's a lot of detail. Most striking of all are dozens of sauropod heads at the end of long necks that tower above the park.
Hey, those are brontosauruses. I mean, those are brachiosauruses.
It's okay to call them brontosauruses, Tim. It's a great name. It's a romantic name. It means thunder lizard.
Digging that. Thunder lizard.
Thunder lizard is what they called the narrator in high school. Grant takes a solid web of branches and settles himself in, leaning back against the trunk of the tree. With a little room on either side of him, Lex nestles up next to him on the branch. Grant is surprised, but accepts it. Tim climbs off the side to a nook of the branch of his own. Silent of a moment, the three can hear the hoots of the animals they call. Some are almost musical.
Listen to that. They're singing. Of course, no one's ever heard one from a dinosaur before, but I could swear that sounds suspiciously to me like a mating call in an all-female environment.
He smiles, enchanted. He hoots himself, trying to get one of the calls. Immediately, 5 or 6 of the heads turn in the direction and hoot back.
No, shh, stop, don't let the monsters come over here.
They're not monsters, Lex. They're just animals.
They're
These are
just
herbivores.
Why does it say Lex again for that drink?
Yeah, that's definitely me.
This group sucks.
That means they only eat vegetables. But for you, I think they'd make an exception.
Tim.
Oh, I hate the other kind.
They're just doing what they do.
Dorkatopes.
Pops.
Dorkatops.
Straight A brainiac.
Did you guys possibly cool that for a...
Satisfied, Tim settles in for the night. Grant shifts too, getting uncomfortable, but something in his pocket pinches him. He winces and digs it out. It's the velociraptor call he unearthed so long ago in Montana. Yesterday, actually. He looks at it, thinking a million thoughts, staring at this thing that used to be so priceless.
What are you gonna do now if you don't have to dig for dinosaur bones anymore?
I guess we'll just have to evolve too.
What do you call a blind dinosaur?
I don't know. What do you call a blind dinosaur?
Do you think he saw us? What do you call a blind dinosaur's dog?
You got me.
Do you think he saw us, Rex?
Mercedes, your time.
Finally close their eyes. After a moment, Lex pops her eyes open again.
What if the dinosaur comes back while we're asleep?
I'll stay awake.
Skeptical.
All night?
All night.
Grant lets the claw fall to the ground. 93. Lots and lots of sex.
Dinosaur sex.
Yes,
94. Interior restaurant night.
This is me. Ellie comes into the darkened restaurant, following the source of the flickering light. A candle burns at a table in the corner. John Hammond sits at the table alone. There's a bucket of ice cream in the middle, and he's eating a dish of it, staring down morosely. This is the best scene.
Relatable.
Ellie draws up to the table, and Hammond looks at her. His eyes are puffy. His hair is messed up. For the first time we've seen him, the fire has gone from his eyes.
It was all melting.
Ellie just nods.
Malcolm's okay for now. I gave him a shot of morphine.
They'll all be fine. Who better to get the children through Jurassic Park than a dinosaur expert?
Ellie nods. Another pause. Hammond breaks it again.
You know, the first attraction I ever built when I came down south from Scotland was a flea circus, Petticoat Lane. Really quite wonderful. We had a wee trapeze, a roundabout, a merry-go, what you call it?
Carousel.
A carousel, and a seesaw. They all moved, motorized, of course, but people would swear they could see the fleas. I see the fleas, Mummy. Can you see the fleas? Clown fleas, high-wire fleas, fleas on parade.
Ellie just looks at him, not sure what his state is. He goes on.
But with this place, I wanted to give them something real, something that wasn't an illusion, something they could see and touch, an aim devoid of merit.
But you can't think through this one. You have to feel it.
You're absolutely right. Yes, you're right. Hiring Nedley was a mistake. That's obvious. We're over-dependent on automation. I can see that now. But that's all correctable for the next time around.
John, you're still building onto that flea circus, that illusion. You know, you're adding on to it by what you're doing here. That's the illusion.
Once we have control again,
Control? You never had control. I was overwhelmed by the power of this place, so I made a mistake too. I didn't have enough respect for that power, and it's out now. You're sitting here trying to pick up the pieces, John. There's nothing worth picking up. The only thing that matters now are the people we love. Alan, Lex, and Tim, and John. They're out there where people are dying. People are dying, you know?
There's a long pause. Hammond avoids her gaze. Ellie reaches out and takes a spoon out of one of the buckets of ice cream and licks it. Finally,
It's good.
he looks up at her and his face is different, as the unhappy irony of what he's about to say finally hits home.
Spared no expense.
Exterior, park, dawn.
That's a well-written scene.
It's the
That's
best
a
scene
good
in the
bucket.
movie.
I don't even have a joke about that one.
That's actually just a good scene.
The sun comes up over. Oh, is this someone else now?
Oh, is it? Who is it?
I'm
Is it-
96.
It's Ross.
It's me! Alrighty. Exterior, park, dawn. The sun comes up over Jurassic Park. The danger of the night before is overcome by the sheer beauty of the place. It really is like the Serengeti Plain. Excuse me. Over at the edge of a great open field, a huge tree marks the border between the open area and the thick of the jungle. Up in the tree, Grant, Tim, and Lex are asleep in the branches of the tree, both kids now curled up under Grant's arms. A heavy shadow falls over all three of them, blocking out the sun entirely. Grant awakens, only a little bit asleep, as a brachiosaurus head pushes into the tree branches, right up beside them. It hesitates there for a second, seemingly staring at them. My bad. Grant just watches as it opens its mouth very wide and chomps down on a branch over their heads. The kids awaken with a start. Tim points. Lex opens her mouth to scream, but nothing comes out. Then,
Go away!
Okay, it's okay. It's a brachiosaur.
Vegisaurus, Lex. Vegisaurus.
but Lex isn't taking any chances and scrambles back, away from its mouth. Tim and Grant come together on the branch, just staring at the dinosaur in wonder as it eats its breakfast. Grant gets another branch. Tim scampers up, trying to get the brachiosaur's attention.
Come here, boy. I mean, girl.
He tries whistling. Grant moves forward and tries to feed the brachiosaur. The animal gets to the end of the branch and starts a tug of war with Grant. Tim tries to help him. They really begin to have a good time with the brachiosaur. Honk. Honk! The brachiosaur makes a loud honking noise, startling Grant and the kids.
Take a bite, take a bite. I'm not letting go.
So strong. Look at its nose.
He grabs onto the branch.
Need help?
Tim reaches out, petting the
Got it,
dinosaur's head while
girl.
it chews.
Hey, Lex, you can touch it. It's a girl, just like you. Come on, okay. Lex, come on and touch it. It likes you. It's gotta like you. Come on, Lex. Lex, come over and touch it. It's a girl. It has to like you. Lex, why don't you touch it? It has to like you. It's a girl.
Oh my god.
Come on, try some. Take a bite.
It's good protein. Come on, Lex. Why don't you touch it? Look at his nose.
This is a 77-ton animal. Come on over, Lex. Just think of it as a big cow. Look at its teeth. Come here, girl. This is a 77-ton animal. Just think of it as a big cow.
My god. Okay. Grant maneuvers in closer. He reaches out and grabs hold of the thing's lip with both hands and pulls it down, revealing the jaw at work.
I like cows.
You're a beautiful big animal.
His nose is running. It looks like it has a cold.
The dinosaur keeps chewing, not objecting to the inspection.
Did you smell that?
Lex tentatively edges forward in the tree to the inspection.
Come on, girl, up here.
She barely touches the thing on the tip of its nose, and it sneezes. It's a vast explosion, and Lex falls back, dripping wet from head to toe.
God bless you.
96A omitted. Another
the scene-
heavy sex scene.
No, that's just the scene where they rinse off the dinosaur snot in the river. They're
Yeah,
like,
and it just looked very explicit, you know?
Solid 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, on the ground, 97, on the ground. Lex, her shirt is soaked and face all wet, walks away from the tree. Tim and Grant follow.
Oh, great. Now she'll never try anything new.
Lex is embarrassed and ticked off.
She'll just sit in her room and never come out and play with her computer.
As she wipes off some of the wet and throws it at Tim.
I'm a hacker.
That's what I said. You're a nerd. They don't call you people hackers anymore. They call you people nerds.
People, whoa! Tim and Lex continue talking, oblivious to Grant, who has stopped by a tree root trunk. Sorry.
Hey, Lex. Achoo!
What?
Hey, Lex, you forgot to say gesundheit.
Grant is still crouching on the ground below the tree where he landed, staring at something in the palm of his hand. They both come and look over his shoulder, curious. They stare in amazement. And a whole clutch of dinosaur eggs, all hatched, now empty. Grant picks up one of the fragments, a large one, nearly half an egg.
You know what this is? It's a dinosaur egg. The dinosaurs are breeding.
But my grandpa said all the dinosaurs were girls. They can't fuck.
That's illegal.
Fuck up!
Amphibian DNA.
What's that?
Well, on the tour, the film said they used frog DNA to fill in the gene sequence gaps. They mutated the dinosaur genetic code and it blended with that of frogs. Now, some West African frogs have been known to spontaneously change sex from male to female in a single-sex environment. Malcolm was right. Look, I found a way.
Chaos theory.
Yeah.
98.
98. Is that me? Yeah. Oh, that's whoever's next. That's Jake.
That's back to me. Interior
98 to
control room,
96D.
Jay. Yeah,
I'm
96D's nuts. The mood of the room is hopeless. His wound's
Goodbye.
bandaged, but in real pain, hangs around with Ellie and Muldoon, hoping for some development, while Ray Arnold is still at the computer terminal and looking a mess. He doggedly sorts through the computer system's line of code, one by one by one. They blip by, reflected in his glasses. He turns and stares up at Hammond with a look of absolute incredulity on his face.
No, that's crazy. You're out of your mind. He's absolutely out of his mind.
Wait a minute. What exactly does this mean?
Hammond turns to her, the twinkle back in his eye.
We're talking, my dear, about a calculated risk, which is the only option left to us. We will never find the command Nedry used. Damn it! He covered his tracks far too well, and I think it's obvious he's not coming back. So shutting down the system.
I will not do it. You'll have to get somebody else because I will not do it.
Shutting down the system is the only way to guarantee wiping out everything he did. If I understand correctly, all the system will come back on their original started modes, correct?
Theoretically, yeah. But we've never shut down the whole system, and it may not come back at all.
Or will we get the phones back?
Yes, again, in theory, but
About the lysine contingency. We could put that into effect.
What's that?
It's absolutely out of the question.
Hammond walks away from the group.
the lysine contingency is intended to prevent the spread of the animals in case they ever got off the island, but we could use it now. Dr. Wu inserted a gene that makes a single faulty enzyme in protein metabolism. Animals can't manufacture the amino acid lysine. Unless they're continually supplied lysine by us, they'll go into a coma and die.
How will we cut off the lysine?
No trick to it. Just stop running the program, leaving them unattended.
Malcolm speaks up.
How long before they become comatose?
It would be totally painless. They'll just sleep into an unconsciousness and then die.
How long before they slip into unconsciousness?
About 7 days, more or less.
7 days? 7 days! Oh, great. Oh, good. Clever.
It'd be a first. Man and dinosaur all die together. John's plan.
He raises a hand. Hammond finally loses his cool. He bellows, summoning every ounce of authority at his command. And that's quite a bit.
People are dying!
There was a moment in which no one dares to speak. Hammond regains himself.
Will you please shut down the system?
Arnold swallows and gets to his feet.
You asked for it.
He walks across the room to a red metal box on the wall. He takes a key from his belt, unlocks the door, and opens it. There is a row of 4 switches inside. He flips them off, one by one, leaving only a single lever left. His hand hovers over it, and he flips the lever.
And you got it.
Every monitor, every terminal, every fluorescent light shuts out, plunging them into near darkness. They just sit in eerie stillness for a moment.
How long will this take?
About 30 seconds.
They wait in tense silence. Hammond adjusts the waiting silk handkerchief in his breast pocket. He notices Malcolm staring at him, his eyes full of disapproval.
I think perhaps I'll just sit down. I don't suppose you think all that much of me now, do you?
You're all right, John. You're all right. It's just you don't have intelligence. You have think-telligence. You think narrowly and call it being focused. You don't see the consequences. You're very good at solving problems and getting answers, but you just don't know the right questions.
Ian,
Malcolm looks at her.
Yeah?
shut up.
Yeah.
Hammond.
It's not a criticism, by the way.
Finally, Arnold turns back to the box. He flips the row of safety switches back on again, then hesitates by the main switch.
Hold on to your butts.
He throws it, and nothing happens. There's a very long pause.
It's not working.
Listen, which one of you knows how to handle a gun? Arnold, who can't quite understand this, races over to the main monitor.
Ha! It's okay. It's okay. Look. See that? Look.
They stare at the monitor, which glows with a faint amber light, the only mechanical thing in the room that's on. The left-hand corner of the screen displays 2 words, system ready. Arnold looks at them, his face triumphant.
It's on. It worked.
We'll teach you to trust Grandpa.
Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean it works? Everything's still off.
The shutdown must have tripped the circuit breakers. All we have to do is turn it back on and reboot the system in there. The phones, security doors, half a dozen doors, but it worked. System ready.
Where the break is?
Out in the main entrance shed. Other side of the compound. I'll go out there, 3 minutes, and I can have the power back on the entire park.
Just to be safe, I'd like to have everybody in the emergency bunker until Mr. Arnold returns, and the whole system is back on its feet again.
Cut to exterior compound day. Muldoon and Ellie carry a jerry-ridged stretcher with Malcolm on it down a narrow path in the compound. Hammond is with them. Cut to exterior park grounds day.
Grant, Tim, and Lex walk through the park grounds, heading across a relatively open area. Grant consults the map.
I'm tired.
When I get back, I'm gonna have peanuts and etc.
The visitor center should just be about a mile beyond that rise. If we keep...
The animal cry they heard earlier is spoken more louder and repeated by many more animals.
Grant looks at
I
think you had something else.
It's frozen. Grant looks up.
There you go.
What is that? Can you tell me what they are?
Gallimimus.
Gallimime.
He turns around to face the direction the sound is coming from. He squints. The animal cry are much louder now, accompanied by a low rumble.
Here.
Uh-oh.
They're flocking this way.
Grant takes a few steps forward. As he watches, he can make out shapes in the distance. Dinosaurs. Dozens of them. All at once, he figures it out.
Stampede!
Alice figures it out.
I'm so glad the movie is they're flocking this way.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. A stampede of at least 40 dinosaurs, Gallimimus by name. Lex is ready to get out of there, but Grant and Tim hesitate, staring. The dinosaurs kick up a flock of birds, which startles them, and they call change direction at once, the same way.
Look at the wheeling, the uniform direction change, like a flock of birds evading a predator.
Sure enough, they hear a roar. A very familiar roar of a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Oh shit.
Grant and the kids whirl around at the sound, but can't place it, as it seems to come from all around them. They look back towards the stampede. The herd spontaneously changes direction again, and now they're headed straight for them. There you go. The three of them take off across the meadow toward the relative cover of the jungle. It's a real foot race, but the herd is far faster, and Grant knows they're not going to make it. They jump over a huge root network. There's a space under it to hide, and Grant stops the kids, shoves them underneath, and follows them. They cover their heads as the herd thunders over the roots. Chunks of everything fly everywhere as the herd plows overhead, their clawed feet striking the roots dangerously close to Grant and the kids. Finally, they pass. Grant peers up over the top root. He looks toward the trees, which the herd is now running alongside. A roar comes from somewhere within the trees. Grant scans the trees, looking for any sign of the T-Rex. And then it bursts out ahead of the herd, cutting them off, throwing them into the disarray, scattering them everywhere. They all stare as the Rex kicks it into overdrive, runs down one of the Gallimimus, and sinks its teeth into its neck. The T-Rex makes the kill in a cloud of dust and debris. Tim and Grant half rise to their feet, staring in wonder.
I want to go. Now!
But Grant and Tim are transfixed, watching the T-Rex.
Watch how it eats.
Please!
Bet you'll never look at birds the same way again.
Tim nods in fascination. The T-Rex pauses in the middle of its meal and roars.
Yes.
That is called jet plane. Let's go. Wait, that's a human. Sorry.
Okay, keep low. Follow me.
She turns and takes off, running as fast as she can across the open plain. Tim and Grant tear themselves away and follow her.
Look at all its blood. Cut to
But two,
97
nothing.
through omitted 101 graphic dinosaur sex scenes.
101.
Interior bunker day. Ellie paces impatiently. She comes down the stairs.
Something's happened. Something went wrong.
Muldoon paces too. Hammond and Malcolm are also crammed in the underground bunker. Malcolm lays on a table, all sexy, while Hammond tries to tend to his wounds. Hammond speaks, still feeling the obligation of the host.
It's just a delay, that's all it is. All major theme parks have had delays. That when they opened Disneyland in 1956, nothing worked. Nothing.
John.
But John, if Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists.
Another pause. More pacing.
I can't wait anymore. Something went wrong. I'm going to get the power back on.
Can't just stroll down the road, you know.
Oh, let's not be too hasty. He's only been gone.
He looks at his watch. Muldoon walks over to a steel cabinet. Ellie joins him.
Going with you.
Okay.
Muldoon clangs open a steel cabinet, revealing an impressive array of weaponry inside. He removes a shotgun and what looks like a small rocket launcher. He shoves a shell into the barrel of the
That's
rocket
not in the
launcher,
movie.
which accepts it with a faint
Yeah, wait a
electronic
minute.
sizzle.
The fuck does that mean?
Hammond searches out the set of blueprints, gets them out of the file cabinet, and spreads them out on top of Malcolm, almost crushing his leg. Fuck.
Sorry.
Ellie and Muldoon join Hammond.
This isn't like switching on the kitchen light, but I think I can follow this and talk you through it.
Hammond signals with a look.
Talk.
Ellie gets a couple of walkie-talkies from the shelf and shoves them in her belt.
Okay.
But you know, I should really be the one going to
Why?
Sorry. Well, because I'm a.
Look,
Come on, let's go.
we'll discuss sexism in survival situations.
I thought that's what was happening.
Great one-liner.
She backs,
Oh yeah.
she backs toward the door.
Step by step, I'm on channel 2.
It just fades away.
Now it's Unical.
Cut 2. Exterior jungle day. Grant, Tim, and Lex scrambles through the jungle,
Oh, it's a
completely
drink.
exhausted. They arrive at the base of the big electrical fence that surrounds the main compound. Grant looks up at the fence. It must be over 20 feet high.
Bit of a climb. You guys think you can make it?
Way too high. Grant grabs a stick and climbs up on the ledge. He looks at the warning light on the fence. It's out. He pokes the wire with a stick. No sparks fly.
Well, I guess that means the power's out.
Still not trusting the fence, he taps it with his foot. He moves in slowly and lays both hands on the cable and crosses his fingers around it. Grant's body shakes. He screams. He can't scream. He stops around and turns around slowly and smiles wickedly. That's not funny.
That was great.
Far in the distance, the T-Rex roars. Without a second's delay, both kids leap to their feet. Oh, that's so me. Cut 2, exterior bunker day. Ellie and Muldoon step out of the bunker. The main compound feels different now. It belongs more to the jungle than to civilization. Muldoon has a big gun in his hand.
Okay, I'm on channel 2.
Muldoon.
Oh, sorry. Stick to my heels.
They start down the path, moving quickly. Exterior path day. Muldoon and Ellie emerge from one path and come into a slightly more open area. The raptor pen stands silently, surrounded and penetrated by jungle. The abandoned goon toward looming over it like a haunted house. Muldoon slows down, Ellie right next to him. They notice a hole in the fence that surrounds the raptor pen. The metal is twisted, as if gnawed. The hole is large enough for an animal to slip through.
Oh my god. Oh god.
Yeah, I must have turned off all the fences. God damn it, even Nedry knew better than to mess with the raptor fence.
He squats near the hole, looking at the ground. He sees 3 sets of footprints. He follows them with his eyes. They head off in different directions, but all in the jungle foliage on either side of them.
Come on, this way.
I can see the shed from here. We can make it if we run.
Muldoon walks slowly, as if he heard something.
We can't,
Why not?
because we're being hunted from the bushes straight ahead.
Ellie turns, very slowly, to face the bushes. At first, she doesn't see anything, but then there's something very faint, like a shifting of the light, and a shadow seems to move in the bush, rustling leaves.
It's all right.
Like hell it is.
Muldoon raises his weapon slowly to his shoulder.
Run towards the shed. Got her.
Ellie backs up, down the path, slowly. Muldoon follows behind her, keeping his gun trained in the bushes. The shadows in the bushes move too, at an even pace with them. Ellie, startled, turns and falls over a log. She quickly stands and starts to run towards the shed.
Falls over.
That's a drink, but I don't. There goes Delaney.
I missed something.
Bye, Delaney.
Bye, Delaney. And falls over a log. She quickly stands and starts to run towards
Bye.
Whoa.
Ellie walks slowly into the bushes. On the path, Ellie runs as fast as she possibly can. A real broken field sprint, hopping over the branches, flying across the open area at the top speed. Over a log, splash! She hits a water puddle. Comes to another log obstacle. She grabs a tree and swings over it. She nears the maintenance shed and doesn't look back. She reaches the door, blasts through it, and slams it behind her. Cut 2. Exterior jungle day. A hand comes into the foreground and takes a firm grip on one of the tight fence cables. Another hand follows it, then a third. Grant, Tim, and Lex climb over the fence, pulling themselves up by the tension wires, crawling right past a danger sign that tells them this fence ought to be electrified. Interior bunker day. Malcolm and Hammond hover over a complex diagram of maintenance shed that's spread out in front of them. Hammond clutches the radio in his hand, almost praying to it. Finally, it crackles.
I'm in. Mr. Arnold? Mr. Arnold?
Interior maintenance shed day. Ellie's in the doorway of the maintenance shed, breathing hard from fear, listening to Hammond's voice on the radio.
Great. Good. Okay. Ahead of you should be a metal stairway. Go down it.
Ellie does, heading into the room, shining the flashlight ahead of her. There's a maze of pipes, ducts, and electrical work on both sides of her. Interior shed day. Ellie walks straight ahead from the bottom of the metal stairs.
Right. After 20 or 30 feet, you'll come to a T-junction. Take a left.
Malcolm.
I'm sorry, I'm so lost. Jock, just
Over.
try to follow the main cable.
I understand how to read a schematic.
Ellie keeps walking, nervous as hell. She looks around, awfully dark down there. I don't have anything.
I'm out as well.
Going down the stairs.
Oh, drinks.
Okay. Damn it, dead end.
Wait a minute. There was a right back there somewhere.
Ellie, you look above, there should be a large bundle of cable and pipes all leading in the same direction. Follow that.
Ellie looks up, finds a bunch of cables, and follows it into the main corridor.
Piping. Okay. Following the piping. It goes back up the stairs and across the stairs. Following the stairs.
Look for a metal grate and that to its longest direction.
Added dialogue, not recorded.
Mr. Arnold? He's not answering me. Okay, I'm on the grating.
Good. Keep going now. The cable will terminate into in a big gray box.
Okay, I'm following the tubing. I'm going down a passageway. How long does this stuff go for? Could you guys talk a little bit to me?
Note, dialogue to be added wasn't recorded. She wants Malcolm to say something funny to Ellie over the radio. She smiles.
Say anything funny, Henry.
Hang on, shush. I'll give you some tubing to follow.
No.
That's not funny. This is completely inappropriate.
Inappropriate.
Ellie wants to discuss sexism and
Ellie wants to go home. Ellie wants to.
Ellie follows the tubing to the end of the corridor where she sees just a box.
Sorry, I couldn't think of anything better.
Okay, I see the gray box.
Ellie goes through a mesh gate and walks towards the gray box.
It says high voltage.
She pushes the door open even further, revealing a vast array of breakers and switches inside.
Now, Ellie, you can't just throw the main switch by hand. You have to pump up the primer handle to give you a charge. It's a large, flat, gray.
I see it.
Exterior jungle day. Grant and the kids swing over the top of the fence and start their climb down. Interior shed day. Ellie pumps the gray handle, which is sluggish. Above it, a small white indicator chains over the discharge to charged. Ellie slams the gray lever back into positions.
It's charged. Okay.
Right. Now, under the words contact position, there's a ground green button that says push to close. Push it.
Ellie does. The contact position chains over to close, and lights start to go on all over the panel.
Me? Did I do it? Is the power back on?
Exterior jungle day. Grant and Lex continue to climb down the fence. Tim is having difficulty. Just as he's about to take another step, he loses his footing and almost falls, but then regains control and hangs on. Interior shed day. Ellie watches as a column of 12 white indicator lights flash on the control panel. They're clearly labeled, each one for a different area of the park.
Oh, right here. Okay. Now, Ellie, the red buttons turn on the individual park systems. Switch them on.
As Ellie pushes the buttons, they light up, and our eyes go to the near end of the row. It's marked perimeter fence. Interior jungle day. Grant lets go, dropping the last few feet to the ground. Lex does the same. A warning light begins to flash, coming back to life. Grant's eyes go wide. He looks up at Tim, who's still far up. Near the top, in fact, he has to come to a complete stop. Interior shed day. Ellie keeps pushing the buttons. She's getting closer to the button for the fence. Exterior jungle day. Tim, terrified, has frozen where he is.
Tim, you have to let go.
Shed day. I'm suggesting it's interior. Okay. Ellie's still punching buttons. Now only half a dozen away from the one for the fence. Now 5. Now 3. Exterior jungle day. Grant and Lex are both screaming at Tim.
Come on, Tim, move down, damn it.
Timmy, the power's coming back down. Quick.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Tim, you're gonna have to let go. I'm going to count to 3.
Jump, Timmy. It's too late.
I'm afraid I'm gonna fall.
Go, 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 jump.
You're crazy. I'm not gonna jump.
Tim, you're gonna have to let go of the fence. Tim, get down right now. Get off the fence now.
Do as he says. The power's coming back, Timmy.
Timmy, let go. You're gonna have to let go. Count to 3. I'll catch you.
Timmy, do as he says. Timmy, do as Dr. Grant says. Quick.
Are you crazy? What if you miss? I hate it up here.
Tim, I'm right here. Easy catch, easy catch. Count to 3.
You're gonna get electrocuted. The power's coming back.
Shut up. You're scaring me. Stop. You're scaring me.
Shh, shh. Tim, I'm right here below you. Easy catch. 1, 2, 3. You count it yourself. 1, 2, 3.
You're gonna get electrocuted.
It's an easy catch. You let go. You do the counting. You count it, Tim. 1, 2, 3. You do all the counting, okay?
Timmy, listen to Dr. Grant.
Coming up there, Tim. I'm coming to get you. Lex, I've got to get him.
Interior maintenance shed day. Ellie finally pushes the button for the fences. It stops flashing and lights up a brilliant white. 19. Omitted. Cut 2. Exterior jungle day. The fence hums as it awakens. Grant and Lex are screaming at Tim.
Okay. I'm gonna count to 3. 1, 2, 3.
With a low, loud, frightening buzz, the fence comes to life. Pow! Tim is caught off mid-sentence and literally thrown from the fence. He slams into Grant. They fall to the ground. Lex runs over to them.
Tim, you okay? You okay?
Grant notices a larger problem.
He's not breathing. Tim. Oh, that's me. Interior
120.
maintenance shed. Ellie watches as the banks of fluorescent lights in the maintenance shed come on one by one. The lights are finally going in rows, coming closer and closer to her. Finally, her row comes on. She follows the light and sees a raptor right there behind the control panel. It slashes, taking a lunging sweep at Ellie, but gets stuck, its feet and legs tangled in the maze of pipes on the floor. This is our first good look at one of these things, and if it weren't so terrifying, we could admit that truly is a thing of beauty. It's the biggest of the raptors, intensely muscled, coordinated as hell, a smoothly designed predator.
That's the drink.
Ellie shouts and falls back into the pipes on the other side of the aisle. The raptor untangles itself from the pipes and gives chase just as Ellie slams the mesh door closed. The raptor bangs against the mesh door. Ellie falls to the ground. She holds on by kicking the door shut as the raptor continues to push himself through the door. Ellie is able to get the door closed. She stands, but then falls back onto one of the walls. A dead arm falls onto her shoulder. Great Arnold is there, with what's left of him, stuck in a tangle of pipes. Ellie moves away, and his arm falls to the ground. She doesn't realize that she has moved right back near the mesh wall, and the raptor comes at her again. Ellie takes off running with it as fast as she can, back where she can.
Oh, God.
She drags the flashlight with her, running over the dead arm on Arnold's legs. She continues to run, her headset dangling, the flashlight dragging behind her on its cord. She reaches the stairs and hits them hard, flying up them. The raptor might be right behind her, but she can hear the clicking and clanging as it scrambles up the stairs, but she doesn't look back. She reaches the top, throws open the door, hurls herself outside. Exterior shed day, and slams the door behind her, just as the raptor's head snarls at her from near the top of the stairs. She runs out the fence and collapses. Exterior, jungle, day. Tim is still unmoving. Grant is performing CPR, alternately compressing Timmy's chest 15 times quickly and breathing into his mouth twice. Lex is freaking out. 15 compressions, 2 deep breaths. Come on, Tim. 15 compressions, 2 deep breaths. Timmy! 15 compress. Tim gasps and comes to. Good boy, Tim. Good boy.
3.
Cut 2, exterior, jungle, day.
Stupid.
I fucking hate
Robert
Tim
Muldoon
so much. I'm sorry.
Creeps slowly through the jungle foliage, tracking his prey. He ducks and walks through a hollow log underneath a fallen tree, following the rustling sound up ahead of him. He can see just a trace of the raptor's gray flesh as it moves behind the bushes up ahead, staying camouflaged enough to deny him a decent shot. Thinking he's got a moment, Muldoon extends the back handle of the gun and clicks it into place. He prepares to take aim. A snake slithers across a tree branch, past what looks like the large iris of a flower. The flower blinks. It's the eye of the raptor. Muldoon sees it. He raises his gun. Instead of running away, the raptor rises slowly out of the bush, fully revealing itself to Muldoon, hissing at him. His finger tenses on the trigger. Suddenly, his smile vanishes. Both eyes pop open. A terrible thought sweeps across his face. His eyes flip to the side. Clever girl. Which is where the attack comes from. A roar, another raptor comes flashing out of nowhere and pounces on him.
This was for
The gun blasts, but wildly, and raptor's claw slashes through Muldoon's midsection. Muldoon screams and falls back, the raptor locked on top of him, all tooth and claw all of a sudden. As the second raptor makes the kill, the first raptor strides slowly forward and watches approvingly. It throws his head back and snarls. This is now you, Mercedes.
Oh wait, that's me.
Oh my god, we're almost done.
Delaney. Yeah.
Interior Visitor Center day. Grant, Tim, and Lex come into the deserted visitor center. A large sign that says, "When dinosaurs ruled the earth," droops overhead. Grant now him, who is weakened but conscious.
Oh!
But nobody answers. Oh wait, that's still me.
Yep.
Interior restaurant day. Grant, Tim, and Lex come into the restaurant. Grant carefully sets Tim in a chair at one of the tables. Lex across from him.
I'm gonna have to find the others and get you to a doctor. Will you look after Tim, Lex?
Yes.
Grant
Sure as
nods.
hell.
Aw, he looks at Tim for a second.
Your hair's all standing up.
He gently rearranges Tim's hair, which is wild, all over his head. Tim looks up at him weakly and manages a smile. Grant smiles back.
Big Tim, the human piece of toast.
Oh, Tim laughs. Grant pauses for a second as if to be.
Kim sucks.
Be
Right.
back soon, guys. I
Sorry,
promise.
I'll shut up.
If we get off this island, I'm gonna knock up my girlfriend, I bet. I bet that's what-
Oh my god. I for a second thought that was a real line.
I thought so too.
Wants kids. Not that kid, but kid. He leaves. As he goes across the lobby of the visitor center and outside, they can see his silhouette moving through a translucent mural that depicts dinosaurs in various natural settings. It's quiet for a second as Lex and Tim just look at each other. Tim goes across the room to an all-you-can-eat table on the other side and quickly piles some food on a tray. He brings it back to the table. Lex digs in, munching on veggies, grabbing food with two hands. Tim enjoys his food too. Lex comes up with a spoonful of lime jello from a plastic dinosaur egg, but her hand freezes halfway to her mouth. Tim looks up and sees the expression on her face. She's staring over his shoulder, eyes wide, the jello quivering in her shaking hands.
What? Henry, what are you doing?
What? What is that?
Tim turns around. Behind him, one of the silhouettes on the mural is a raptor in a hunting pose. While they stare, the silhouette of a real raptor moves out from behind it and creeps forward in the lobby of the visitor center. Interior lobby kitchen day. Wait, Legs pulls the shiny metal door shut as quietly as she can. It latches with a distinctive click, but there's no lock. She runs to a panel of light switches and kills them all, plunging the room into semi-darkness. She helps Tim down an aisle, and they hide at the end, behind a corner, breathing hard. A raptor's head pops into view, visible through the round window in the middle of the restaurant door. It just looks for a moment, its breath steaming up the window. Through the window, as the steam evaporates, the raptor can see a part of Tim that is not entirely hidden by the counter. In the kitchen, Tim and Lex remain frozen in fear as the raptor first sniffs at the bottom of the door, then thumps its head against it. But the door doesn't budge. Cut 2.
Exterior compound day. Grant walks quickly down the narrow path toward Hammond's compound, eyes darting from side to side, not exactly sure where he's going. From far off, he hears something shouting to him. He turns. He sees Ellie standing outside the bunker. She's waving to him, shouting something too faint for him to hear. He furrows his brow and walks towards her. She shouts louder. He walks faster. He's closer now, and he can finally make out what she's shouting.
Run!
Grant takes off running towards her, not even looking back. He races up, and she runs into his arms.
Where are the kids?
Interior bunker day. John Hammond
Fuck them
sits in
kids.
the bunker, watching as Grant racks the bolts on the 10-gauge shotgun. A 10 gauge? Really?
That's overkill.
Boy, I sure know what that means.
Same.
Very big.
It's a very,
Okay.
it's kind of overkill.
Not as big as 12 gauge, though.
No, bigger.
True.
Is it?
No, bigger. 10 gauge is bigger.
That's what she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, good one. That didn't make too much sense, but
Anyways,
Anyway, it's just the 2 raptors, right? You're sure the third one's contained?
Yes. Unless they figured out how to open doors.
Cut to interior kitchen day outside the door of the kitchen. The raptor stares down at the door handle, cocking its head curiously. It snarls and bumps its head handle with the
Stage
door.
direction
It doesn't do
deletion.
anything. It reaches out towards the handle with one clawed hand. In the kitchen, Tim and Lex stare at shock as the door handle starts to turn. The door opens. The first raptor stands in the doorway, draws itself up to its full height, and looks around the kitchen. Now,
shut the fuck up. Wow.
hey Mercedes, can you not?
I'm sorry. Continue.
In the kitchen, Tim and Lex stare at shock as the door handle starts to turn. The door opens. The first raptor stands on its doorway, draws itself to its full height, and looks around the kitchen. Now, a second raptor joins into the doorway. They move into the room, brushing against each other. I got distracted by Cole. The first raptor snaps. That's to say, your distance. Now, the raptors split, taking 2 different aisles. Tim and Lex crawl away. Tim, awfully weak now, and down a third aisle, on the other side of the counter from the raptors, moving in the opposite direction. As Tim and Lex pass the raptors, one of the raptors' tails smacks into some pots and pans, knocking them off the counter. They fall onto the kids, who manage to keep quiet. The kids keep moving as one of the raptors dips down, looking through an open cabinet to inspect the racket. Tim and Lex reach down to the end of the aisle and around a corner, but Timmy's falling behind now and he accidentally brushes against some hanging kitchen utensils. Both raptors turn. One jumps onto the counter, knocking more canned stuff into the counter. A ladle clatters to a stop, and the strange metallic sound confuses the raptors for a moment. But then they move in Tim's direction, sniffing, heading right for him. The raptor on the first floor is just about to turn the corner when Tim sits, exposed and exhausted, but both the raptors suddenly stop, hearing a clicking sound from the other side of the aisle. It's Lex, tapping a spoon on the floor to distract them. The raptor on the counter jumps down and steps cautiously towards the director's noise. It's him. Lex sees a steel cabinet behind her, its sliding door slid up and open. She crawls inside, silent. Tim sees the raptors make the turn towards Lex, smashing more stuff around with their tails. He turns and sees a walk-in freezer on the far wall with a pin locking handle. As Lex tries to pull the overhead door of the cabinet shut, one of the raptors rounds the corner and sees the reflection on the shiny cabinet front. Lex tries frantically to close the cabinet door, but it's stuck! Tim takes a few deep breaths, summons what little strength he has left. Makes a break for the walk-in freezer. He's limping, dragging himself, really moving like a wooden prey, and the other raptor spots him. Both raptors go in for a pre-attack crouch, and they pounce, one towards the other kids. Lex tugs on the counter. To the avail, Tim's raptor charges after him, just after the floor space between them. And Lex raptor thuds into a shiny surface, bearing his reflection. It shades the wrong image. It sags to the floor, semi-conscious. At the other end of the aisle, the real Lex scrambles as the other raptor bears down on Tim. Tim reaches the freezer, rips the door open, and falls inside. The floor is cold and slick with his feet and go right out from under him. He sprawls against the floor, rolls out of the way. And the raptor slips and falls into the freezer too. Right past him! Tim drags himself to his feet and out of the freezer. The raptor makes one last lunge right onto Tim's heels, its mouth wide open. But Lex scrambles to the door and shouts it just as Tim is clear. The raptor's head is caught for a second, and it snarls, retreats, and Lex lets the door shut all the way. The raptor roars and screams. Lex and through the sample, looking at him, locking it in. Now the raptor scrambles to its feet. Rocky, it smashes into stuff all over the kitchen. Lex throws her arms around Tim again for support, and they take off. God, I have to keep going. That scene was so long. Interior restaurant.
Yeah.
Tim and Lex hurry across the restaurant. They stare back at the restaurant, their shoulders as they run. They crash into Grant and Ellie.
It's in there.
Control room.
All right, that's me. Interior, second floor corridor day. Grant, Ellie, and the kids race down the second floor corridor towards the control room. Grant helping Tim. 1:30, interior control room day. Here, let me just, boom, okay. The door to the control room smacks open. Grant, Ellie, and the kids burst in. Ellie heads straight for Nedry's computer terminal. Grant moves Tim to the side and races back to the door to lock it.
We can call for help.
We've got to reboot the system first.
She sits at the computer and studies the screen. It's flashing to her, dominated by a maze-like grid. She studies it, confused.
Oh no, the door locks. Ellie, boot up the door locks. Boot up the door locks.
Pow! Something hits the door hard from the outside. The kids scream. Grant hurls his back against it. Grant loses his gun. He struggles. The raptor reaches his head.
Alan!
And Ellie leaps out of the air and races over to the door to help him. A raptor snarls and snaps, ramming itself against the door, trying to force its way into the control room. It's all Ellie and Grant can do to hold the door against the onslaught, but it bucks against them viciously.
Ellie, get back and boot up the door locks.
You can't hold it by yourself.
Ellie, get the gun.
I can't get it.
Over at the computer, Lex slides quickly into the command chair at Nedry's terminal. She stares at the screen for a moment.
This is a Unix system. I know this. It's the files for the whole park. It's like a phone book. It tells you everything.
And then her fingers start to fly over the keyboard. Tim watches amazed as the computer starts to respond to Lex's commands.
I've got to find the right file. Oh no, this isn't right. This might be right. No, this isn't it.
Come on, Lex. Come on, Lex. Go, Lexi.
Reaching another menu, Lex spots a box on the screen that reads Door Integrity. She reaches out and touches it. The screen beeps.
There it is. I got it. This is it. I did it. Yes. Yes.
And the door latch panel buzzes. Grant and Ellie put everything they have into it, and finally the door snicks shut, locking the raptor outside.
What works?
Phone security system. Everything works. You asked for it. We got it.
Cut to interior bunker day. A phone rings. Hammond and Malcolm look at each other, wide-eyed. Hammond lunges for it. Grant, the children all right? 132 interior control room day. All the screens in the control room have come alive now, and data is scrolling by at incredible speed as every remaining system in the park comes back online. Ellie is at the keyboard with Lex now, figuring things out, and Grant is on the phone.
Children are fine. None of them were electrocuted or anything.
133 interior control room day. Hammond is on the phone. Malcolm is trying to listen. Thank God.
Listen, the phones are back up. Call the mainland. Tell them to send the damn helicopters.
Suddenly, Grant stops in the middle of his sentence. A scream cuts in, the 3 gunshots, fast and a horrible clunking as this phone is dropped. Grant! Grant! But there's no answer. That's Nicole.
Oh, that is me. Whoops. Interior control room day. Grant's rifle lights on the floor, smoking, several spent shells alongside it. The front window of the control room has 3 huge impact shatter patterns into the glass, where the gunshots hit. Tim goes into an open panel through the ceiling and into the crawl space. Lex climbs the ladder, followed by Ellie and Grant. Grant looks over the front window, scared as hell, just as it shatters in a shower of glass and a raptor explodes into the control room. Hold on. Explodes into the control room. It lands on its feet on a workstation console. Images from wall projectors falling across its head. Grant vaults himself up into the ceiling and knocks the ladder with his feet. The raptor tilts its head curiously, looking up at the swaying ceiling. The crawl space. Grant, Ellie, and the kids dash across the ceiling panels, moving fast, but carefully so as not to break through. Smash! The raptor's head bursts through the panel behind him, leaping up at them, snarling and snapping. It drops down again, and they keep moving forward. But now it erupts through a panel right in front of them. They scream, its teeth like just inches in front of Ellie. But the raptor can't hold itself up there, and it falls back to the floor to the control room. Grant looks around frantically and spots an air duct a few yards away.
Follow me.
They move forward, but the raptor's head crashes through the ceiling again, this time right underneath Lex. She screams and is lifted up on top of its head. It's pinned to the ceiling above. Grant smashes his boot into the side of the raptor's head.
I don't have any more drink left.
Please, viewers, know that I'm not that stupid. It actually says this. The raptor slams at him, lashing onto his boot for a second before the raptor's own weight pulls it back down. Lex goes down with the raptor, spinning into the hole in the ceiling, tumbling down. Grant grabs her by the collar at the last second, but Lex dangles there above the raptor. The animal flips onto its feet and crouches to pounce just as Grant centers him straight and jerks Lex back into the ceiling. It's still me, in the air duct. Grant, Ellie, and the kids crawl through the air duct as fast as they can, the thin metal booming and creasing around them. They reach a metal grate that shows daylight beneath. Grant reaches out and pulls it up. Through the gate, they can see the lobby of the visitor center below. They're directly above the skeletons of the dinosaurs, the T-Rex and the sauropod it's attacking. The unfinished skeletons are surrounded by scaffolding.
Ready? Interior rotunda day. Grant and the others climb out of the air duct and onto a platform of the scaffolding that stands alongside the skeletons. They continue down to the second platform, then the third. They suddenly see a raptor standing to the side by the second floor railing. It's too much too far to jump to the lobby floor, so Grant climbs gingerly onto the nearest skeleton, the towering brachiosaur. They climb down as fast as they can. Grant helps Tim down. Lex and Ellie follow. Ellie goes to the tail. Lex moves to the front. Grant lands on the main body in the middle with Tim, and the raptor watches them. Up in the ceiling, the skeleton's anchor bolts groan in the plaster, starting to pull free. But for now, they hold. The raptor flies out and lands on the back of the middle section of the skeleton. Snap! It cracks apart with the weight, sending the section spinning in all different directions. Grant and Tim twirl on the middle section. Tim begins to slide down. Grant tries to hold on to him, but Tim loses his grip and falls to the ground right underneath the swinging, large middle section of the dinosaur skeleton. Meanwhile, Lex spins on the front section. She slips and tries to keep from falling as she hangs by her legs. The anchor bolts in the ceiling rip free, zinging past them like bullets. The entire brachiosaur skeleton collapses like a house of cards, sending Ellie to the ground. She covers herself with her arms, trying to protect her head from the shower of falling bones. Lex falls, landing on the ground with bones falling on top of her. She screams. Grant, alone in the middle section, looks up and sees the cable about to snap. He falls. The large section of the skeleton comes careening down, heading straight for Tim, who lays where he fell on the ground. It comes smashing down, with just enough space for him to be safe. The raptor tumbles to the floor in a cascade of splintering bone. It lands on its back a few yards away and staggers for a moment, the wind knocked out of it. Grant lands in front of Tim. He stands and goes to Tim. Lex sits up and sees the raptor regain its feet. She screams. Ellie stands. She notices the shadows of the second raptor standing behind the visqueen. I don't know what that is. She stops dead in her tracks. She backs up towards Grant and Tim. The raptor comes out from behind the plastic and looks around. Grant gets Tim out from under the skeleton. Lex joins them. They back away from the raptor approaching from the left side. They back up towards the large rock in the middle of the room, holding the other skeleton. The raptor crouch in their pre-attack stance. The group is caught in the middle of the two approaching raptors. Lex looks up and screams. Grant and the others continue to back up. They look up and see
So many screams.
Tyrannosaurus Rex. Its massive head descends down from above. A set of 6-foot jaws clamp down on the raptor. 18-inch teeth sink into its side, and the helpless animal howls in agony as it's lifted up off the floor of the lobby. Grant and others look up in stunning.
I love it. I love that.
They step back behind the rock for safety and look to the right. They see another raptor approaching. The other raptor goes up in the air now, 20 feet off of the lobby floor. Held fast in the mouth of the Rex, it stands at the entrance to the lobby in front of the massive hole it ripped through the visqueen wall. It shakes its enormous head once, breaking the neck of the velociraptor, then drops it dead to the floor at its feet. Grant, Ellie, and the kids skirt the battle royale on the lobby floor and dash out of the door of the visitor center. The second raptor turns from the humans and lunges at the Rex's side, leaping 12 feet into the air and rending the Rex's flesh as it comes down, slashing at it with its 6-inch claw. The Rex bellows in pain and turns on the raptor. He's raging.
Cut that out.
It strikes just once quickly and smashes the head of a serpent. It catches the raptor by thick fat head.
That raptor is thick.
Yuck. It catches the raptor by puts one of its enormous feet down on it and tears.
Okay.
This is them writing this fight scene.
Dummy
Okay,
thick
then what if the
raptor.
T-Rex rips the other velociraptor in half?
You sounded so drunk when you
But
described
well, let's make sure that raptor is dummy thick.
Yeah.
There's gotta be.
Wait, what? Guys, I got an idea. Sorry, keep going.
Come here. Come here, let me tell you a secret. It rips the last velociraptor in half. Anyways,
Okay.
the Rex whirls around as it turns, its heavy tail counterbalances, snapping the other way, sweeping across the lobby and smashing right through the T-Rex skeleton. The skeleton collapses in an explosion of bones falling to pieces around the living Rex. The Rex stands majestically in the middle of the lobby, both skeletons swept away, snapping like matchsticks as they settle around the animal. The Rex draws itself up to its full height and roars.
I can barely hear I wish I could hear the sound effect more. Damn.
Anyways, the
Rawr,
sound
XD.
is
Stop.
deafening. And the vibrations rattle the entire visitor center. The sign, which dangled over the lobby by its one remaining wire, finally falls, clattering to the floor at the Rex's feet, face up. Dinosaurs ruled the earth, it says. Iconic. It's ironic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Outside the visitor center, Hammond squeals to a halt in front of the steps. Malcolm is lying in the back. Grant and the other practically fall into the Jeep.
Mr. Hammond, I've decided not to endorse your park.
After careful consideration, Dr. Grant, so have I.
Hammond hits the gas and the Jeep takes off. 137B. Omitted. 137C. Doesn't exist.
Blank. Yeah.
138. 139. Exterior helicopter landing pad day. The helicopter motors whirl to life as the chopper waits in the landing cross. Two Jeeps roar up next to it, one driven by Grant, the other by Hammond. Interior helicopter day. One by one, they come on board, their faces white from their ordeal. Ellie comes in first, holding Lex. Then Hammond carrying Tim and Grant helping Malcolm. No one speaks. Hammond takes another look at their dream. Grant takes over and falls back into the helicopter. The helicopter takes off immediately. As they rise into the air, they stare out the windows, looking out at the park as it spreads out below.
What's this mean? Helicopter sounds.
Sounds.
Down in the park, the helicopter soars over a vast plain. The Tyrannosaur, which is still feeding on the remains of the dinosaurs it ran down and killed, looks up. It throws its head back and roars. Wait, little forearms.
Play it.
I'm done.
There we go.
Our big head and little arms. You guys remember Meet the Robinsons? Goodness.
Yes.
What a bad movie.
What a great movie.
It's a great movie. What are you talking about? It's actually a
Read-
great movie.
The book is so much better.
Okay, fine. Let's finish the script.
The book
We're so close to the end.
We're almost done. Let's come on.
waving its little forearms at the strange thing in frustration. As the helicopter moves off, the T-Rex just stares silently with huge, yellowing eyes. It's a moment of utter bewilderment for the Rex, and we almost feel sad for her.
But do we though?
Shut up,
I mean,
Henry.
she's gonna die.
Anyways, I feel sad for the Brontosaurus. Back in the helicopter. Oh wait, I got rid of my helicopter sound. Anyways, Hammond looks down at the park. His eyes full. He looks over at the kids. They're in the back of the helicopter with Grant. As they look out the window, Grant almost absently has his arms around the kids. Now Ellie looks at him. Both he and the kids seem so natural, so obviously comfortable and trusting with each other. She smiles. The four of them sit that way, in the back of the helicopter, huddled together, survivors. Grant looks out the window. The helicopter sweeps low over a huge flock of seabirds.
Helicopter.
Yeah, Delaney, you say
Why are you saying helicopter?
Anyway,
What?
keep going.
What did I say?
You say helicopter funny. Anyway.
Keep going.
The helicopter.
Just keep going. Stop. Come on, sweeps over.
Over a huge flock of birds that's feeding on a school of fish. As the chopper roars near, it kicks up the flock. Hundreds of birds sail off in all directions, powerful and graceful. Grant looks at the bits.
Stop.
the beds.
The bids.
Birds and breaks into a wide grin. The birds reform as flock again and fly straight.
Right into the sun.
Straight into this.
like how you know you're getting John Williams
Fade
for the
out.
movie, so you're just like, hey, just when the T-Rex looks in the distance, write music that makes everyone in the audience sad, and you can just do that, and John Williams will make that music for you.
Yep.
We did
That's all.
We did
We
it.
did
and it's
it!
Oh
complete.
my God, guys, we finished Jurassic Park.
Not 2 o'clock yet.
It's actually not. It's 3 minutes to it.
Yeah.
This has been really fun.
Yes.
Okay, it's
It's
2
like-
o'clock.
Stop the recording now. Farewell recording.
Bye-bye.
Recording.
What did everyone learn?
I learned that every
To
single
proofread.
line that is a meme came from one character.
I learned
One.
that there's not that much dialogue in this movie.
Yeah,
There's a lot of very narrative sequences.
right. Yeah.
Dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherits the earth.
Boom.
I learned cocaine.
Yeah, I learned that they were definitely on cocaine when they wrote this movie.
Proofreading your scripts is important.
Yeah, this script had so many fun errors.
There's no fucking way they proofread this script. They
I
just
don't
like,
know. Like I don't
Related to that, though,
know what.
I'll say that I learned even if you don't proofread a script, you can still have a good script. Like you can
I
still have
think
well-written
The thing
scenes.
is, if you don't prepare the script, you have to go with the mistakes.